Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is RedSunGamer, son of a podcast, episode 44. Today's date, July 29th. And in the house we have Steven.
Tadaima, good to be back.
Yeah, missed you guys. You were on a boat last week, right?
Group hug. Yeah, I was touring the dirty waters of Tokyo Bay.
Well, you haven't
eating. It was an all-you-can-eat, all-you-can-take in the scenery. Like Skytree has just been erected. It's like the tallest building or tallest tower in Japan.
Right.
That was supposed to be like one of the things we're supposed to see, but no one paid attention. They're just eating and stuffing their faces.
Excellent. And in Nagasaki we have...
Yo, what up? Elliot in the house.
Have you got a gold chain around your neck?
No, but I have one.
Have you got
in my desk right now?
Have you got a pair
Super bling me?
You wearing a big pair of Adidas with huge tongues?
You joke about it, but that was a phase I went through.
I did as well. Don't worry. I went through that as well. I still do, now and again. Just keep it a secret.
Gotta keep it real.
And in Kyoto, we have Cheesy.
Hello.
Hey, welcome back.
I'm here.
And I'm TJ Mizuhara.
So what is the story behind your name? I don't think we got like an origin explanation of that.
Oh, my origin story. Okay, I chose my username Cheesemeister on Gaff because I was born in Wisconsin.
Hey.
We're neighbors.
Where are you born?
Chicago.
Chicago, okay. So you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Cheese State.
Wisconsin.
I never considered them as Meisters, but...
Yeah, well, there's also a sizable population of German descent in Wisconsin, of which I am one. So Meister in German means master.
Right. Not like the mice, as in like mice that eat cheese mice.
No, not so much.
Oh.
So I just combined, a couple aspects of my home state into a username.
So do you live up to that name? Is your refrigerator stocked full of European cheeses?
There's only one answer to this question.
I wish.
Or is it just like old food that's become moldy, like cheese?
It's more of an aspirational username.
One day.
Okay.
There you go.
Good. Well, there's your origin story. It's like Uncle Ben didn't get killed, so that was good. Didn't have to see that again. Anyways, right. Okay, so let's get into it. Opening question. Steven.
Yes. Okay, here we go. Limber up, because I'm going to tell you my story first after the question. What is the game that has earned you the most clout as a gamer?
Oh.
Clout.
So something that, you were, any time in your life where you're like, your sad gaming reputation has preceded you in some way, shape, or form. Or people have acknowledged it and given you the approving nod.
Mine's always the same one.
Okay. Go ahead, Steven.
Mine's the one that got me a job, so what can I say?
Right. You got 10 minutes to think of a good lie.
I don't need to lie. I just say Ridge Racer. There you go. My question's already finished. Ridge Racer.
Okay, well, you'll know I'm not going to say Halo or Mortal Kombat, so you can rest assured.
Dig Dug.
What's that?
Dig Dug.
Dig Dug, right.
No?
No. So my game, I'll give you my answer first, is 720.
720, the snowboarding game?
Snowboarding game.
Skateboarding game, right?
Skateboarding game.
Yeah.
Skate or Die.
Skate or Die, yes, I was about to say
the arcade version. So back in the day, when this game was like the hit in the arcades, on the arcade scene, this was one of those games I completely absorbed. And the arcade we were playing at, all the games are pretty much like fighting and competition for because all the volumes were really loud in an arcade back in the day. I think if you walk in arcades nowadays, everything is like really low and really quiet. But they had the 720 on louder than everything. So you could literally be out in the parking lot, be like, skate or die, and it just called you in. And so I played this game to hell where I could basically get all golds in every single one. So if you play the game, there's 4 different parks within a certain level, and then you have to play through each level. And on the back of the skateboard, it puts all these stickers on there, whether you got like a silver or a bronze or a gold. It's really hard to get golds for every single one and finish the game on gold. So I used to like go to different arcades and had a lot of fun just topping the score off and getting my initials in, going to all the arcades and getting golds and everything. But I really got into inline skating in high school. In college. And we used to go do the half pipes and the rails and all that stuff. And we used to go to a lot of places where it was mostly inline skating, but there was this one skate park that was almost all skateboarders. So they talked about, because there's this like bad blood between inline skaters and skateboarders. So you have to like, you kind of see each other out there in a bowl or the half pipe, and they're like, it's kind of like Clint Eastwood doing that grimace, that evil high noon grimace. You look at them, they look at you, But it turned out this place. So we skated there, and there was this sort of you feeling like the tension between them. You drop in, then they drop in. And then sometimes people drop in together, a skater or a inline skater and a skateboarder. And people are like, "What the hell, man? What's going on?" But they had a 720 arcade in the lobby, and which is a skateboarding game. And I'm an inline skater, so after I took a break, we went in and had some lunch. And I popped in some coins. I looked at the high score. I'm like, oh, I can beat this. And I proceeded to play it. And, it's a long game. If you actually play it all the way through, it's like about 25 minutes. And like I'm going over there, and they start to notice that there's this inline skate over there playing a skateboarding game. What's going on? So they go over there, and they notice me, and then they see like, oh, he's got all gold so far. And they're like, you might beat John's score. And they're like, 'cause there's this guy, John, man, he's always at he's the best guy here. And they're like, they start calling everybody over, and you can see them getting excited. And like suddenly, like this tension that existed between us, like the inline skaters and the skateboarders, was like starting to like melt right in front of our eyes. It was really funny. And so I ended up beating this guy's score, and by the end, they were like fanboys. I'm like, how did you do that, man? Where did you learn that trick? There's like a trick in that half pipe, a glitch, where you can you bump into the wall and you can grind all across the top and like get this really high score. And like there's all these little Easter egg tricks in there and stuff like that I knew. So by the end, like we were best friends. Like all these guys at this skate park, and like they're talking to us. It's like we've been buddies our whole life, and it was through this video game. And if the video game didn't exist there, it was like to the point where like somebody might have got bashed over the head with a skateboard, because we were like the only inline skaters there. So
you melted the cold walls of their heart.
Yeah, it was a nice game transcending moment, or because of games, saved my life.
720 saved my life.
It's first and last time you will ever hear that, ladies and gentlemen.
Excellent. Learn Ollie, it helps.
Alrighty, Elliot.
My story isn't nearly as good as Steven's, but whatever. When I was younger, I had a NES, and I had the original Ninja Gaiden. And when you're younger, somehow you beat all these really stupidly difficult games, and when you look back on it, you can't really figure out how, because maybe you'll go back to a game and you'll start playing it a little bit again when you're older, and you're just like, how did like 10-year-old me make it through this stage, But recently, I've been at the Board of Education sitting in a small room with a bunch of other foreigners for hours on end. So I've taken to starting playing old school games, like NES games again, in my free time. And one of the games I wanted to try again was Ninja Gaiden, because I remember playing it and beating it.
Oh my god!
Yeah, right.
Good luck.
And so
rage-inducing.
One of my good friends is joking in the corner when I started. He's just like, Ninja Gaiden is stupidly hard. You're going to be, eating your controller by the end of the day. Like, there's no way you're going to make it without using save states. And before I started, I decided I'm not going to use save states, because it's not like the game sends you to the beginning of stage 1 if you die. You just get sent back to the beginning of the stage. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this. Let's see what happens. And first stage is a little bit rough. I'm trying to remember how to best control you, but I end up getting into a groove, and I'm doing better and better. My friend's still talking crap in the corner, like, this is like one of the hardest games ever. You're never gonna beat it. You're never gonna beat it. And through the chewing on my controller and random moments where I start screaming in the room, which happened quite a few times, I managed to make it to the final boss and eventually beat it the same day within like 2 hours, give or take. And because I had a couple friends watching me, it was kind of this really like uplifting, like hurrah moment where, you know, little small applause.
How long did it take you to finish the game?
About 2 hours. Yeah, I felt pretty good about it too. The last boss is where I spent most of my time though, because, you know, if you die, you get sent back to the very beginning of that stage and you have to do like 2 stages over again. And he has like 3 forms, so it was a huge pain in the ass, but I managed to do it, and because people were watching, I didn't have to really prove anything because they saw me do it. And yeah, I felt like I had sort of proven my old school gaming chops a couple days ago. So
you realize you're putting your clout on the line, because that's pretty bold what you just said. You're going to have to live up to that in front of one of Martin's live streams.
Oh, God. Hey, just because I can do it with one game doesn't mean I can do it with every game.
Well, I had a friend, my friend Joel used to come over during the summer, and he did not finish the game in 2 hours, much less like many sessions of 2 hour sessions. And he would come over, and I'll say this because Cheesemeister's here. He'd come over, open up my fridge, take out my pimento cheese, because this is like some like the official after school snack of the Christofferson house. It's like pimento cheese that you put on Ritz crackers. He would eat all of our pimento cheese, and he'd just go back in the room and just swear for 2 hours straight, and then like leave the house. That was my memory of Joel for a short period of time during the summer.
Now, don't get me wrong. I swear I swore a lot in that room. I think it was on Thursday, actually. There was a lot of like taking the Super Famicom controller that I was using and like putting it, like biting on it really hard and making really strange noises while people were like reading books and trying to, you know, sleep even. There was a lot of rage, but at the same time, I realized through going back to this game that Ninja Gaiden is just a really good game. And yeah, I feel like it was really refreshing to play something where, yeah, you know, it was punishing and I died a lot and there's a lot of swearing, but at the same time, I never felt like I was being like tortured almost. Like, right. I felt like I was dying because I didn't jump right, or I didn't, you know, move right, or think ahead. So, but it was definitely an accomplishment. Pretty recent, but you know.
Cool.
Nice.
Jeezy.
Yes. Let's see. Gaming clout. I haven't done a whole lot of gaming performances in public per se.
Performances. Live at the Mets.
Yeah. One instance I can think of was this Japanese gaming and anime group in college that I went to, where I did a speedrun of Super Mario Brothers for everybody. That was kind of fun.
You could probably go, I think, downtown Tokyo, there's a place called Muteki Mario. Mm-hmm. They would love you there.
Oh, yeah?
I think they do. You can do them there.
Yeah.
There would be a place like that in Japan.
Yeah.
All decked out in Mario gear and whatnot.
How fast was your speed run?
Oh, we didn't time it too closely. We were just looking at the clock, but it was something like 6 minutes.
Wow.
My
brother and I used to play that game upside down. That's another way. Right is left, left is right. Kind of like Martin and Dokudo right now.
Yes. And people did some weird stuff with games back in the day. Just finding new, interesting ways.
Right, exactly.
Right, well, everyone knows my origin story, right?
Is there like do you have a second game? Anything that comes close?
Wipeout?
You're like professionally tied to those. I'm talking about something that is just like a pure love. Outside. Not to say that neither of those was, but
well, I originally Ridge Racer wasn't professionally tied to anything. It was just because
right. It wasn't. I'm just saying, like, for something new, like a new story. Like, to me, like, I've known you since 2010, and like the biggest, strongest connection you had with a game was El Shaddai. So I'm trying to remember something for you as well.
No, I'm going to stick with Ridge Racer, and that's it. I'm not going to go into anything else because I don't think that's professionally related because I played it way before I was even anywhere near like working for Sony or anything like that, you know?
Right.
I played it like at the age of like 15 or something and using all my vacation money. So I literally had no money for my whole vacation for like 5 days because I decided to spend all my vacation money on the first day and play Ridge Racer. So...
back in the good old days.
So vacation turned kind of crappy like after the first hour because I'd already spent my vacation money in about an hour on Ridge Racer.
But that first hour was awesome.
Exactly, the first hour was amazing, but the rest of it was like, I want to go home. I've got no money. Everyone else has got money, and I've got nothing. So
those mini professions that you have, like you claim a new mini profession every summer vacation. You know, it's something different.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the good old days.
Alrighty, I reckon we should move on.
Let's go.
Yes, let's get on with it. Okay, so on the agenda we have a new little system came out yesterday in Japan on the 28th of July. I wouldn't actually call it little though. It's the 3DS LL.
Yeah.
Oh.
That came out.
My large supersize me French fry cup.
Say what?
No, carry on.
Wait. Talk about a way to derail something. Anyway, DSLL came out along with Super Mario Brothers 2. On the Thursday before that, Persona Arena came out, Elliot?
Yes, that is correct.
And another game called...
Yes.
Come on.
Nayuta no Kiseki.
Hey. That came out. And Cheesy, was there something else that came out that you've played?
Yeah, I played a Western game on the iOS.
Damn it.
Western.
And iOS. That's like a double dame for me.
Yeah, that's a double whammy right there.
That's like the cross in the bow.
Yeah.
Cross in the bow.
Okay. I reckon we should get into the hardware first. And so the 3DS LL, or XL as it's called in the rest of the world. Does anybody want to explain why Japan calls it LL?
I think it has to do with t-shirt sizes.
Right.
Yeah, there is no X. Isn't it just like...
Well, if you go to McDonald's or something like that, and you order like a Coke or whatever, a drink, you get S, M, and L. Like for an extra large, we go with LL, right? And it's the same.
Yeah, the size designation.
It's the size designation, and then like it's the same with T-shirts. Whereas in like the West, we go S, M, L, and then if it's one bigger than L, it's XL. But in Japan, it's just LL, and then 3L, and then 4L, and then 5L.
More L's for everybody.
Yes.
Well, X is a bad thing.
It's funny because they can't even really pronounce L.
Yeah, so it's funny. Yeah, so X is batsu, which means like wrong, right?
Yeah, it's basically just no.
So the Xbox is the bad box.
They call it the Batsu box.
That's why it wasn't successful.
The Batsu box. No, I think the Xbox wasn't successful because when the original one first came out, nothing was translated into Japanese.
Anyway.
So I think that's one of the reasons. Anyways, yeah. So
Except Halo. Carry on.
Except Halo. Right. Yeah. So the 3DS LL came out. Who picked one up?
Moi.
Elliot, no? No interest?
Not yet.
Not yet. And Cheesy, no?
No, I'm waiting for the CirclePad Pro to be built in.
Yeah, good luck on that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, what you get 5 chances to move your data over, right? So
yes,
the next 4 that come out, you might get lucky.
There's a limit?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a normal computer when you like change from like different regions of like a Western region or a Japanese region. You get your computer says you have 3 more tries when you switch between the two. Same thing.
Okay.
Wait, so if you transfer your software to the 4DS, you could only ever make it as far as the 8DS.
And then that's assuming you don't do like a halfway version up. You know.
Right, yeah.
Like we just did.
I think if it's another new machine, you'll probably get another 5 tries.
One would.
I don't know, man. We might be screwed.
Anyways, right, 3DS LL. Steven, you picked one up, right? What color did you get?
I bought overcast gray.
Right.
I don't think that's the name.
I don't think that's the name, no.
Worst advertising ever. Aquatic
Feeling
blue.
gloomy by the overcast gray.
Pure
3DS.
white. Overcast gray.
We are a podcast.
So you got the metallic grey, right?
Metallic gray.
There you go.
Metallica gray.
Don't be so gloomy. So yeah, you got the metallic grey. Okay, I got the white one. And the white one is sexy.
Sexy white.
It is. It's crystal white. It's matte. So no fingerprints whatsoever. So that's the first thing I was pleased with. I opened it. I pulled it out to the little polythene sleeve, and boom, it was matte white and no fingerprints. So I was like, yes, thank you, because I was sick and tired of my 3DS full of fingerprints. And that's like one of the worst things I can see when I pick up a handheld and you can just see it like caked in fingerprints. To me, that's a turn off. You know, especially when you hand it to somebody else and you get it back and you're like, ugh. You know what I
does
mean?
that apply to the screen too? Do you get hand grease all over the screen and have to keep wiping it off?
Well, I use my nail, so I don't really get fingerprints on the screen so much. So, or I try not to use the stylus so much, but yeah, I just use my nail. Anyways, 3DS LL screen size. Holy crap!
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about the screen a little bit because I'm really curious about this.
Screen is huge, and
that has the quality of the visuals. So, you know, if the screen is big and the games look poor.
The screen is big. It's slightly, because it's bigger, it's slightly interlaced, so you can see the lines.
Okay.
The pixel density compared to like the Vita is totally different. You can actually see the lines of the actual screen. But it's a lot bigger. So imagine playing your Super Nintendo. And you remember the scan lines you used to get across the screen?
Yeah.
Very similar to that.
Okay.
Which I think it's a bit of a charm. I quite like that look. I've always liked that look. It just reminds me it makes me reminisce about the days I used to play my Super Nintendo. So yeah, so you got some lines that go across. They're not that noticeable. You really need to get in close to actually see the scan lines or the lines, the pixel lines. So yeah, that's okay. But when you hold it at like a regular length away from your face when you're playing the game, you don't really see it. You have to get up close and personal to see those lines. That's the top screen. The bottom screen is pretty much the same. Pixel density wise, I think it is the same. But I mean, there's very little screen glare, which I've noticed.
Really? Have you taken it outside?
Yes, and you can pretty much see everything. No problem.
Have you whipped the high noon sun coming down on it, and it was playable?
It's playable, yeah. I mean, you have to turn it up to like the max, but yeah, it's still playable. I mean, I don't know about high noon sun glaring, but yeah, I mean, it's totally playable. The thing about the 3DS is I don't know that the plastic that they used to go across the screen was kind of reflective, so you could see yourself all the time.
On the original model?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that. And also, with the 3DS LL, you don't really get that. It's more of a... They've used, obviously, different plastics on it, and it's a lot less subtle. Sorry, it's a lot more subtle than the original 3DS. So you don't get to see your ugly face every time the screen goes black, which is quite nice.
How heavy is this thing?
It's
100 grams heavier than the previous one. So,
but it's because the size wise, I don't think it's that much noticeable. Because
really, I felt it was pretty. I mean, imagine like taking your 3DS and putting like a chicken tenderloin on it. I mean, it's like 100 grams.
Your analogies are really weird.
Well, I can just see someone doing that now.
Well, no, I mean, when you go to the store and buy chicken, you buy it by gram.
Who puts chicken grams on their 3DS, on their handheld?
I mean, it is kind of a sandwich-shaped machine, so I can totally see someone
it's very accessible.
I guess it's kind of like a chicken. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
Somebody gets what I'm talking about.
Okay. So, also, with the the border of the original 3DS, it had like a black, glossy, finished border, right, that goes all the way around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that really annoyed me because it was so reflective. But obviously, because of the matte finish now, you don't get any of that. It's just a matte
really
finish.
Nice.
So it's much nicer to actually look at, and because of the actual screen size, it's playing a game. I feel is a lot more enjoyable. There's a lot more real estate for your eyes. You're not like squinting at the screen, you know. And the 3DS, the 3D feels a lot better because of the screen size. So it doesn't hurt my eyes as much. Yeah, I used to turn it off and just play in 2D, but now I actually play with the 3D on, and it's a lot easier for my eyes because of the screens is bigger. So I'm enjoying it a lot more.
What game? Not to get too far ahead though, but what games have you played with the 3D maxed out?
Well, Super Mario Brothers 2. I played a little bit yesterday with when Mehdi was here. We looked at Metal Gear. We looked at Zelda. We looked at what else did we look at? He had some other. Yeah, he had some other. We went through about 5 or 6 different games, and we put the 3D on off, and then we switched it to max, and it felt good in all of them. It didn't feel like strain worthy. It wasn't straining my eyes, so I was happy with it. So overall, I think the machine's great. The machine has hinges. It has 3 stepped hinges.
It's like one of those beach lounge chairs almost.
Yeah. Okay. The 3DS is a beach lounge chair with a chicken.
Oh, the comparisons are just getting better and better.
With a chicken loin across the top. There you go. it's getting a suntan, right? So yeah, so it's got 3 hinges on it, which the hinges they're really good. I mean, it locks into place. It doesn't flap around.
So it's not as wobbly as the original model is then.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, it's really loud.
Because the original 3DS model is kind of, I don't know how to describe it, like floppy.
Yeah,
hinges were really...
Yeah, it was definitely, that was, I think, Martin, yours went completely...
Flaccid. Yes.
We're just using some strange words to describe this.
So now it's fully erect.
Well, no, it's got several angles.
Yeah.
But it's really loud, though, when you put it into the position. It's like freaking Bruce Lee loosening up before a death match, because he's like cracking, and he cracks. Like crack.
Wow.
So we've got Bruce Lee on a lounge chair with chicken across his chest.
Oh, wow.
Bruce Lee, man, he's ready to fight Chuck Norris.
That is loud.
It is loud. Yeah, it's good.
All the system needs now is the nunchuck, right?
Oh, again.
So yeah. I mean, I think it's really good. I like the 3 buttons at the bottom, the select, home, and start being actual buttons now. That they're much better. You don't feel like you're going to break the machine pushing in.
You can't really feel though when you're depressing it. It's very subtle.
It's got a little click to it.
A little bit, but it's
well, it doesn't matter a little bit. It's got a click to it, so that's fine.
Okay.
The 3DS slider is actually it's not just a slider. It's got like a click to it as well. It's like before on the off, and then when you switch it on, you click it on and then you slide it.
I really like that.
So it's nice. So
are the buttons any bigger? Or
the buttons are no bigger. I think the D-pad goes in slightly deeper. Feels like it, but the D-pad
also for the you're talking about the 3D slider. There used to be the 3D backlight. It would say like this game.
Yeah.
This game is you can use 3D with it. So that they've gotten rid of that, which is fine
because gotten rid of that.
Yes, it's like which game can be played in 3D.
Yeah, we'll just turn it on, turn it off.
Exactly. So I thought that was a bit much. I think a lot of people misunderstood what that was even about. I think they just thought that your 3D is on, and why am I switching it off and the 3D is still backlit? I think some people didn't even know what it meant.
There's a lot of people were quite upset with the original 3DS because it gave the screen got some marks on the screen from the bottom screen, and I actually
I've had mine. You tried to clean it off, and you're like, "What is going on here?"
I have to wipe it off every time.
Yeah, exactly. I noticed that on our live stream, Stephen. I don't know if you remember. I said, "Look, it's getting marks on it already."
Oh, when we were doing it,
when we did our live stream of the original 3DS, I was like, "Wow, look, it's already getting marks on it." And This one doesn't because it's got two like rubber like nipples that sit
Stoppers.
Okay, stoppers, rubber
There you go.
nipple stoppers. Okay, and
whoa, that's a different meaning altogether.
you taking a dump?
I think you're talking about underwear lines.
So it's got these little nipples or stoppers on it that once the machine's closed, it stops the screens of coming into contact with each other. You can actually, if you turn it to the side of it, you can actually see through the complete machine, and you can see from one side through to the other that the actual screens are not actually touching anymore. So that's good. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
The speakers are still poor. The sound. The actual
actually
volume.
Smaller speakers.
They're smaller speakers, yeah, but the sound is still pretty.
They're not quite
bad.
Bose, but yeah.
I'm talking about the actual sound output. I'm not talking about the
pretty
quality.
bad.
Yeah, it's still pretty.
I don't
poor.
think you're actually supposed to use the speakers on the system.
Yeah, headphones all the way, man. If you're doing portables.
Okay,
Yeah.
but the headphone jack's moved from the center to the left-hand side, which I'm not too sure about.
Sidestepped. That was really nice.
You like that? I prefer it in the middle.
Because when I'd rest it, it would be stabbing me if I would be laying down and I'd be playing it, and you'd have the headphone jack stabbing your belly. You didn't get that?
Don't have my 3DS on my belly. Don't know.
Look, if you're laying on your back and you're playing.
I usually have it above my face, so when I fall asleep, I smash it in my face.
Oh, right. There's that benefit.
Yeah.
Is that really a benefit, though?
Yeah, it makes
I'm
you
being facetious, but
it makes you not
it's off
do
to the
it.
side.
Makes
It's
you
off
not
to the
do
side.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really like the machine. It's got what is it? The stylus has moved from the back from where the cart was, because the stylus used to be next to the cart, right on the back, but they've moved it to the right hand side.
Good. That was such.
I really like that.
Stylus.
Yeah, that reach around every single time. I mean, now it's not retractable either, right?
No, it's not a retractable because the machine's so much bigger. They've got room to actually put it in, so it's not a retractable stylus. But the stylus is on the right hand side, and it's so much easier to pull out while playing. Whereas on the original 3DS, it was behind, so you had to reach around the front screen and pull it out, and you couldn't really do that during gameplay. But now where it's positioned, you can boom straight out, straight in while playing. And
So it doesn't telescope anymore?
Nope.
No.
Oh, that's a shame. It was kind of neat.
But you like the telescope?
Well, you can. Will you be able to buy one?
Yeah,
probably.
In there, I don't think that would be a problem.
Yeah, but overall, I like the machine. I like I actually like the weight. I like the real estate of the screen. It's great.
I just put my retractable in there right now, and it looks like it's okay. The telescopic.
Telescope.
There you have it.
Yeah.
I have a question, though.
Yes.
I don't know if any of you guys tried this, but how do DS games look on the system? Because, as many of you probably know, DS games looked awful on the original 3DS, to the point where, I didn't even want to play my DS games on the 3DS because they just would look better on a normal DS system in the first place. So,
well, because
I'm kind of curious about this.
the 3DS games now are actually 1-to-1 with the actual machine. They look the way they should look. Whereas I think on the original 3DS, they were slightly scaled, right?
Yeah, there was some issue. I never really looked into it in depth, but they actually look like, proper DS games now, as opposed to
Yeah, as far as I can tell. I mean, I don't really remember because I don't own a 3DS anymore. Sorry, a DS anymore, so I can't really remember. But they don't look bad at all. I mean, they're not pixelated, and they're not in a massive box or a postage stamp on your screen. So they look good. I mean, even the GBA games, the ones that you got in the
the Ambassador program.
I mean, they look fine. I mean, they're very serviceable. I mean, I was playing F-Zero or Mario Kart before with them, and it's very serviceable. It looks great.
Okay,
even on the top screen, obviously because the advanced was just a single screen, but it still looks fine. I mean, the advanced, it plays on the top screen. I don't know if you can change that in the options or not, if you can drop it down to the lower screen, but the advanced games play on the top screen. Yeah, I really like the machine. In Japan, it doesn't come with an AC adapter.
Yay!
They assume you're upgrading, I guess.
Yeah.
That was kind of a harrowing moment, actually, for me, because I didn't fully charge my 3DS. So when I got home, it recommends that you plug in the adapter. Yet I only had one adapter. So I had to actually do my entire data transfer while charging my old 3DS, praying that there's enough battery pot juice in my LL.
Saying that, though, the LL, when it came straight out of the box, it was charged, I don't know, maybe like 75.
It had 3 bars, I think.
3 bars on it. Yeah, well, we played it for 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
And the battery bar didn't go down.
What?
When I finished my data transfer, it was down to 2, though. So did you lower your brightness?
No, brightness was full. We did a data transfer. We played for 4 hours.
Because I did not have that.
And
wow. I had 2 bars when I finished.
Yeah.
How much data were you guys transferring?
I transferred
I had 2
everything.
gigabyte card.
Yeah, 2.
And it was close to full.
Yeah, mine was close to full as well. All the demos.
However, a lot of the games from the Virtual Console, anything I downloaded could not be transferred over practically, which was another problem.
Wait, what?
So you had to re-download all that stuff on your new system?
So it basically, it said you won't be able to do this, and then it for some reason I got 2 games on there, but all my games did not transfer over. I'm sure, Martin, you had the same thing.
What I did is the games that I had on the card that I downloaded, I copied them to my PC.
Right.
And then I copied those
That's
folders.
the only way to keep your saves. Otherwise, because if you download, you'll lose your saves, right?
Yeah.
I saw someone else on Twitter complaining about that too, saying their saves didn't make it over.
So
that's one of the things that sucked, because I wasn't able to test out the visuals right away with a bunch of different things, which is what I wanted to do.
Right.
That sucks.
So yeah, I transferred all of the saves across on the PC onto because you get a 4 gig card with the LL,
which was appreciated.
Yeah, it's much appreciated. You get the 4 gig card. But yeah, I had to use a PC to transfer all my saves. Another thing that doesn't come across as well is SwapNote. You have to re-download that as well. And then it re-downloads all of the messages you've got. So if you've got a crap load of messages...
that sucks.
So sit there forever while it downloads everything again.
It took about 20, 30 minutes?
It took about 30 minutes to do the transfer. Yeah. And the transfer is like little Pikmins. They pick up...
Yeah, it was a great little applet that they developed.
Yeah, it is quite nice. The Pikmins pick up it says 20% in blocks, and they pick them up and they move them to the other side.
Well, actually, yeah, they have a little block, an icon of the actual unit. Yeah. And they're pulling up 3 or 4 pairs of guys come running out, and they pick it up together, and they heave it, and they come running over to the other side, and they drop it, and they're basically, I'm building the puzzle again.
Yeah.
Leave it to Nintendo to make file transfer an aesthetically pleasing process.
Something that you'll only ever see once or maybe twice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But still, with the... On their way back, they were falling over on their faces. When you play the Densetsu, what is it? Sureichigai Densetsu? What do you call it in English? Mm-hmm. When all your characters are running out and they're falling over on their faces, I'm like, you're not doing that again, are you? I got this thing with falling on their faces, Nintendo.
It's cute.
Yep.
It is cute to the point.
Cute. It's great.
They had one other thing though, just the falling on the face. Really, who gave that order in Nintendo?
Miyamoto.
No. Yeah.
I demand falling. Makes me feel superior. Because that's the voice I have for him in my head when he's alone.
Wait, who? Iwata or
Iwata?
Oh, okay.
Just in his office on his throne, I demand that the little Pikmin fall on their faces.
You don't suppose he has one of those cartridge thrones, do you?
Oh, right, at Sweet
Potato.
Sweet Potato. Yeah,
a throne of games, not Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And even a crown made of old Famicom cartridges. Anyway.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm really pleased with the 3D LL. I just wish the actual there's no cradle for it yet. They released it because I liked putting my 3DS in the cradle. I don't know, there was something nice about that clicking noise that when you
never used it.
I had to stop using my cradle because the contact on the back of my 3DS corroded.
Oh, whoa!
Wait, what?
Did you put?
Yeah.
Did you pour Coke in it or something?
No, I didn't do anything weird to it. It's just if I look at the contacts on the back of my system, it looks like it's made of copper and it's like turned green in some spots.
Oh man,
Fool's gold.
And like the point at which the contacts from the cradle touch are all like scraped away.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know. There is contacts on the back of this, so it looks like it'll go into the cradle slightly differently. I'm not too sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was no cradle on launch, so whenever that
does
came out,
You can buy it. I mean, it was there, right?
No, it's not. It's not available for launch as far as I'm aware, because it wasn't in any of the stores
really?
I went to.
No, okay. I thought I saw it there.
Maybe it was, but maybe the other stores that I went to just are not carrying it. I don't know why. But another thing
was
is
a Yodobashi camera anyway.
The cases for it are all terrible.
Yeah, I passed.
I wanted to buy a case for it because I was like, yeah, it's a new machine. I want to look after it. But yeah, wow, the cases are all awful.
I'm sure there'll be
going
a full
unprotected.
selection later.
At
the moment he's unprotected, and it's not good.
Like a velvet cloth, wrap it in.
He's in a sock again.
Oh god.
My original 3DS was in a sock. Remember?
Oh no.
Yeah.
He's back to the sock again. Sits there in a sock. It's great. Anyways, yeah. So when the 3DS LL came out, it also shipped with Super Mario Brothers 2 Bling edition. Yes. So who picked this up?
Not me.
Me again.
You again. Me.
2 for 2.
2 for 2. And Cheesy, did you pick it up, right?
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. Excellent. And what's your excuse, Elliot?
I don't like the new Super Mario Brothers series.
Oh, starting on a low note.
But before I get hate mail telling me how awful I am for not liking Mario, I really, really, really liked 3D Land.
Yes. Good.
A lot.
Good.
Like, more than I've liked any Mario in recent memory. So, don't hate. Don't hate. Don't hate the player.
Don't hate the player.
Hate the game.
Hate the game.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, what up? Okay, so because I was on the Wheels of Steel when we did a live broadcast of the 3DS LL unboxing along with Super Mario Brothers 2, and I was basically behind a computer doing camera changes and stuff like that and answering people's questions in the chat room. And our good friend of the show, Mehdi, he came from Nara all the way to Nagoya to do this live stream. Pretty much Pretty much the same thing he did when we did the Vita, when the Vita was launched. So he came and he played it, and I watched it on the live stream. So I haven't really played it. I played the multiplayer, but we'll get into that later. So single player, I will ask Steven and Cheesy to get into it because I know that you both have conflicting views. Yes.
So what we're both, let's just get it out there. I'm just starting World 5, and I think the Meister over there as well.
So how many worlds are there?
So far, I think it's 6 plus 2 extras.
Is what we can see. I don't know if more are revealed later.
Right.
Okay,
Don't know.
So get into it. Tell me why it's great or why it isn't. I don't know.
I don't think it's great.
Oh, controversial.
Controversy.
Wait, I like this. I'm enjoying this game. Like I was talking about just before the podcast, it's just, for me, this is like kind of like those big summer blockbusters where it's like as it's building up, you don't really pay attention to it. You don't think about it after you watched it, but you just watch it and you enjoy it for what it is, and then you move on. It's just, I may be a simpleton, but I'm enjoying just the raw fun of it.
I think that might be the first time I've ever heard a Mario game described as a summer action movie. Normally it's
I'm talking about the psychology behind that.
I could call it a blockbuster.
Wee.
Summer blockbuster.
Ooh, bling catch your blockbuster.
So guys, get into it.
Well, you need to say something first.
Me?
Yeah, I'm
me.
a bit underwhelmed here because it seems like a lot more of the same.
It's a lot more of the formula that works.
Wait, what?
I don't like
a Nintendo game the same as that previous game? No,
this is like more samey than usual.
Oh, right,
this is
really?
old no yoko scroll. I mean, they say like this is the royal road of, so they call it in Japanese, the royal road of side scroll. I mean, people say that this is like the best platforming available out there. So if you say it's more of the same, that's not exactly a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but I mean, I think it's time for something new. Haha.
So,
so they should have called it Old Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah.
Or same
Super Mario Brothers 2.
SSMB2.
Instead of Super, just same. New Super Mario Brothers 2. If you are not into the aspect of getting the million coin reach, and you don't like, do you like that part of it?
It seems to be pretty slow going. I'm at like 10,000 some odd coins right now, which is...
Right, I'm about 10,000 right now. Have you done any of the coin rush yet?
I tried it out once, and it seems like you have to speedrun those stages in order to even clear them in time that you're given.
But the idea is that you finish it with as little as time possible, actually.
Oh, really? It's not collect as many coins as possible?
No, you are collecting as many coins up until the very last second. So you're trying to milk every second on the clock and then jump and finish it just as it's like hitting 1 second.
Yeah, because I've been, kind of lollygagging, collecting every coin I can and then running out of time. So it seems like it's designed specifically for people to do those speedruns with the coins. And
so it's not picking up like the 1 or 2 coins way up high. It's like it's knowing to ignore those so that you could go for the big coin rushes. Those choice spots, which you have to learn through practice, which I haven't done really that much yet, but enough to see that that's what you have to do.
Yeah, it's too early to adequately judge that portion of the game, not having cleared the main game.
Let me just ask you, how many coins, so you can get up to 1 to 3 big coins per level, how many have you been getting?
Typically 2 or 3 per level.
Okay, well that's good.
I haven't been missing a whole lot.
Strangely enough, this sounds kind of grindy. Like, not a word I'd ever expect to use.
I don't think that's right at all.
I wouldn't describe any Mario game as grindy.
No.
Okay. So even the whole, going through levels to collect, the coins specifically, not so much?
Well, for me, basically what it's doing is, you remember in, the end of Last Crusade when, sorry. It just popped in my head. But remember when the lady, the girl is the beautiful blonde-haired Nazi girl. What's her name? I can't remember.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
But she's hanging over the precipice and she's reaching for the cup.
Yeah.
And he's saying, I'm gonna drop you. I'm gonna drop you. I need to go for the cup. I need to go for the cup. And then she falls to her death. And then Indy falls over. And then his father says, don't. Sean Connery is saying, grab my hand, boy, let it go. And the game is kind of like you're trying to get all this bling as you're getting through the game, and you have to know there's certain parts where your platforming skills aren't up to you can grab the Holy Grail cup. Yet you want to go for it. You're like, oh, I'm feeling the greed. I'm feeling the greed for the bling, and you start. Certain things happen where you're jumping and there's nothing below you other than just instant death, and yet you go for those 1 or 2 extra coins, and then you're falling to your death because they're pouring out all over the place in certain areas. So I kind of like that added tension that the game brings, because typical Mario does not have any of that up until now. There's no forcing you to take risk other than the time on the clock going down. So essentially you're jumping from platform to platform, and there's death below. Normally you could just take your time, and as long as you finish before the end of the clock, then you're okay. But with all these coins coming out, and their coins are falling underneath you, and if you don't grab them at this exact second, you're not going to get them. And of course you've got a million coins that you're supposed to be going for, so you kind of get obsessed with that. So it's sort of like that extra pressure, and I don't know how it's going to be playing out later on. I'm hoping that it gets a little bit more difficult, where maybe I'm not playing it at the high level that I should be, where I could really be getting, like you said, you have 10,000 coins, I have 10,000 coins. Maybe if you're playing it well, much better at a higher level, you'd be getting like 15,000 or 20,000 already.
I guess that's
what
where
I'm saying.
That's where my concern is. I guess is that if you're at around 10,000 coins at World 5, and let's say there's I don't know off the top of my head, let's say there's 8 worlds, like it feels like you're going to be running levels over and over again to collect coins, and I guess that sounds kind of grindy to me. I don't know.
If I'm not mistaken, multiplayer gives you double coins.
So yeah, the double that, and then the coin rush you get a lot of coins through that as well.
So describe this coin rush thing.
Go ahead. You can speak for a while.
Yeah. So coin rush basically gives you a random set of not random, but a specified set of 3 levels in a given world that you can choose from, and you have to run through these 3 levels in succession without dying, and clearing each stage within the time specified, collecting as many coins as possible for your score. So that's basically a lot of the emphasis of the game design, I think, went into that, because it seems like all of these levels are designed in such a way that you could just flat out B-dash through each of them. And so in the regular quest mode, it's, fairly smooth sailing. I mean, there aren't a whole lot of gotchas that'll really kill you unless, you're a newbie. But it's more a matter of, having all these tricky spots. It's like, can you reach a coin over here? Can you reach a coin over there? How many coins can you get in this situation? So just a lot of user tests that really aren't so much focused on level design as they are on just tricks at collecting coins, which is, another way to do level design. But
so I have another question then.
Yeah.
So clearly there's a big focus on collecting coins, as we've all talked about. Is there there must be like an online leaderboard, right? I know there's not online co-op, but there's got to be a leader, like an online leaderboard for all this stuff, right?
No.
What?
Come on. This is Nintendo. Online?
Just like a leaderboard just sounds like it makes a lot of sense here, I don't know. That feels like a big misopportunity.
It would make sense, right?
Well, it makes coins, but it doesn't make sense.
Just get out.
What about the spot pass functionality?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the spot pass functionality, because it's integrated with your coins you collect, right?
So you isn't it that you can see what other people have?
Yeah, you can see the amount of coins that someone else has collected, right? If they've played Super Mario Brothers 2 and you can see how many coins that they've collected. So, like every time you street pass them, you'll see how many coins they've got, and they'll see how many coins you've got. So it's kind of like a score chase with street pass.
Right.
Is that for the grand total or just the coin rush?
I think that I'm not actually sure which one it is with. I'm not entirely sure because I haven't played the single player side of it, but I do know that it has Street Pass integrated with Super Mario Brothers. So when you meet somebody who's played it, it'll display how many coins they've collected within game. I think it's just within the actual coins you've collected in single player.
I don't know. I wouldn't venture a guess yet.
Because when you boot it up for the first time and you're on the title screen, it's New Super Mario Brothers 2. In the bottom right hand corner, it'll tell you how many coins you've collected. I think it uses that number to send to your Street Pass.
I wouldn't be surprised. One thing I did notice though is that on multiple save files, the coin total is shared among the save files.
Huh.
Right.
So I actually let my wife play this game first, and she played through like half of World 1. And when I started the game, my cumulative coin total had already started accruing. And I'm like, okay, I suddenly have 2,000 coins.
2,000 more coins, right?
2,000 coins. I was expecting to start from 0.
Oh, right. Okay.
So it's tied to your unit, your handheld device.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that was not something I was expecting. I was expecting
Is that a
my
good
save
surprise?
file would have my own cumulative coin total.
Is that a good surprise, or is it like, oh no?
I was kind of disappointed by that, but down the road I can see it being a good thing because getting to 1 million is going to take forever.
Right. Is that something that you think you would want to achieve?
I don't know what the reward is, so I don't know if that's...
It explodes. Your 3DS melts in your hand.
The whole
Millions
rail
are
of Super
crippled.
Mario Brothers is waiting.
Yeah, coins drop out of the cartridge. Oh, you didn't buy it? The cartridge? Did you? You downloaded this, right?
I downloaded it.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
did too.
So you both downloaded it.
I got mine at 7-Eleven.
So please,
Ooh.
please tell me how your experience of downloading a Nintendo game.
Was very smooth for me.
Oh, really? Okay, so
So I wasn't the first day. You were day one. Geez, so
Yep.
yours was probably different.
So I was planning to get up, bright and early for the 9 a.m. start of downloading for this game.
it was. I had a set time, 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Japan time.
Oh, really? Wow!
On a Saturday morning.
Because you could actually buy the cards in advance, right?
Right. The cards went on sale Monday at 7-Eleven was the first place that started selling them.
So that was what, the 23rd?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, okay, so the 23rd they went on sale. So the code that you got for the download, could you put that code in and it would just sit there waiting?
I didn't try, but I think it would have given you an error message saying this code is invalid or something. I didn't
Right.
try.
Okay.
It's not like right for PSN.
I thought maybe it would have done like, it's ready and like, it'll be available on this date. Like a pre-order
Yeah.
type thing?
I don't think they've ever had anything like that on there though, on eShop.
Well, no,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
this is the first time we've been able to buy full games from the
For
store,
full
right?
game or but anything on there, right? Okay.
Okay, so
So
carry on,
check
sorry.
next time. So, yeah, Saturday morning, I generally like to sleep in. But I slept in, I got going, tried downloading it at 9:20 a.m., and by that time the server is entirely congested, and I keep on getting error code 005-5838.
Whoa, you wrote it down?
Yeah, well, I was looking at it multiple times.
All right, so it's embedded in your brain.
Right, yeah, it's kind of like error number 37 on Diablo 3.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds terrible.
Bad times.
Yeah, bad times with the server, just being crushed by the overwhelming popularity of the game that had not been anticipated by the manufacturer. So basically, yeah, I couldn't even download the game until 11:45, a whole 2 hours plus later.
wow.
Yeah,
You're doing your data transfer though. You had already finished it,
I didn't get.
but you didn't get it yet.
I'm not getting.
Well, you
it.
didn't get it. You didn't get it. Pardon me. I'm backing up.
So anyway, yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
start the download until hours later. I'd already started watching the Olympic opening ceremonies by then. I'd recorded overnight.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, it was something to do during the wait. Yeah. So then I timed the download, and it took, 24 minutes?
Wow. How big was
that
the file?
sounds-
The file was 370 megabytes. I calculated the download speed as having an average of 244 kilobytes a second.
That's slow.
Well,
Yeah,
mine was
for here.
9 minutes. I got mine done in 9 minutes.
Dang.
Well, that was a day. You did
That
yours
was
the day after,
That was
right?
the next day.
So today, the Sunday.
Today, this afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd actually called Nintendo customer service after 5 attempts to ask them what's up. And they're like, yeah, we're terribly sorry for the inconvenience, but we're having server difficulties and they're undergoing maintenance. We've got the server status on our website. You can see when it comes back up. So they were very nice and polite. They could read my mind. They told me the error code before I even said it.
And you were able to get through to the representative right away.
Oh yeah. When you call up Nintendo customer service in Japan, you get straight through to a human being Nice. You can read your mind.
People work there?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's not a machine that picks up. You don't have to dial anything.
Do they have any like 8-bit Nintendo music on or something when they put you on hold?
No, you get straight through to a representative.
Get out of here.
Wow.
No joke. It was... And there was a high call volume at that point, too, I can imagine.
I mean, yeah, all the people who, bought this card and can't use it, I'd be freaking out, too.
Right. It's like, did the store just not activate my code or something? I paid for it. I swear I paid for it. I didn't just lift the card and expect it to work.
But from what I gather after digging around online a little bit that day, it sounds like they kind of figured out what the problem was and it hasn't been an issue since.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good that they sort of acted fast on that.
Right, because everything that I was seeing in my Twitter timeline, I knew I was going to the store to buy the LL anyway. So I'm like, I'm going to 7-Eleven to buy this. And then I'm going there. What if it doesn't work? And I've gone through this whole trouble. And actually, a little bit of comic relief. I managed to break my foot.
What?
Yeah, I broke my foot. Not to completely derail, but I broke my foot like about 3 days ago. So I'm on crutches.
Oh,
so I've actually crutched to 7-Eleven.
Wow.
crutched in the hot weather all the way to the Yodobashi.
So
pick up the device. But I was like, if I go all the way there,
comes in on crutches to buy a download card. I can only imagine what the clerk must have thought.
Who is this guy?
He's hungry.
Super Mario Brothers.
Give him a burger as well, just in case.
Supersize him. Stat.
Supersize him in every level. Get him out of there. But yeah. So it's too bad because I was worried anyway. But when I went home and the next morning, I said I'm just going to wait till the next day because we went and watched Batman, and but everything went beautifully.
One thing that was annoying about buying the download card was that all of the prices in the stores for the physical version and the
copy
download
is higher than the download.
No. It was the reverse. The download was more expensive
the download,
than the physical version, which is
just completely ludicrous.
Odd.
I mean, doesn't that defeat the point?
It's about, what was it, about a 500, it was about a 500 yen difference.
Something like that, 400 or 500 yen here and there. I think it's a matter of, the retailers don't want the consumers to get in the habit of downloading their software. And B, I heard from someone on Twitter that that Nintendo had stated that there's a different risk factor involved for the download version, and therefore the amount of margin on each version is different. So when the retailers don't take the risk to stock the download version, they don't get as much of a reward in their margin.
Huh?
So they have, the more they get.
So they have to price the download version higher than the physical version to make up for the difference in the wholesale price? Is what I'm getting. I haven't confirmed that at all, so don't quote me on it, but it's really odd. I mean, the best price I could find on the download card was 4,480 yen. And the best price I found on the physical version was online at kakaku.com. Gave a price of 3,900 something yen.
Right. I got my retail version for 4,080 yen from Famitsu. But I think that the online is slightly cheaper. So,
well, the price at my store for Super Mario Brothers was 4,320 yen.
For the physical version?
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I went to the big game store in Nagasaki City on Friday, so the day before new Super Mario Bros. 2 properly launched. Just because I was curious, how the other games were selling this week, etc. And I went to the 3DS aisle. They had the big new Super Mario Bros. 2 stand, and big signs saying we're not selling these until tomorrow. And nowhere in that store could I find the cards for the digital copy. Yeah. They weren't anywhere. This is the big game shop in like the prefecture, pretty much. There's not much down here.
Which team was it?
It was like, it's kind of like Staya, but it's not really. It's kind of this weird hybrid store called Ewing.
Yeah, Nintendo had a list of the retailers who were offering the download cards, and it was, the usual suspects. There was about a dozen different.
But yeah, I couldn't find the card at all at that store, and I was kind of blown away because if I had seen the card, I think there was a minor chance that I might have just sort of impulse bought it. But there was no card to be found. It kind of blew me away a little bit.
But why would you buy a card at a higher price than the actual retail copy?
Well, I mean, at the time, I didn't know it was going to be a higher price. This was before the game actually released, technically.
Right. I was expecting the price to be lower.
At least like 500 yen, because I mean, in Sony's case, say what you will.
I think it was about 1,000 yen usually, or 1,000 yen, right?
Yeah, give or take. It's anywhere from 500 to 1,000 yen cheaper than the physical copies you'll find in store. Yeah.
I mean, I went to Geo, and Geo was actually selling the download copy for actually more than the recommended retail price.
Oh, no.
The recommended...
So you'd be better off buying straight from the eShop at that point.
Yeah, the recommended retail price is what, 4,400?
4,800.
4,000. Yeah. Is it 4,800?
Yep.
Okay, so it's 20 yen cheaper, beg your pardon, then.
Yeah.
That's so ridiculous.
And then they sell the card. I mean, these are right next to each other on the shelf as well.
Yep.
So it makes no sense. And then you've got the actual retail, the physical copy, and it's 500 yen cheaper. And it's just like, why have them on the same shelf right next to each other? I mean, who is actually going to buy a download version at that price?
My question is, what are they going to do out west? Because I feel like, I don't know, like, people are more prone, mostly due to iTunes and stuff like that, to be open to the idea of getting it digitally. Mm-hmm. So, prices like that aren't going to work, but at the same time, I said that about Sony, and, they're barely, like here, you have the 500 yen, 1,000 yen difference between the physical and the digital copy here, but in the States, apparently that doesn't exist. So, I don't know.
I don't know. It's to me. I know Nintendo don't want to
alienate the retailers.
Yeah, and I think that's obviously going to happen, but it doesn't make much sense to me at all.
It seems pointless to even do the whole digital route if you're going to do it this way.
Yeah,
I thought the idea was to cut them in on the download sales, but it seems like the retailers are cutting themselves out of the download sales.
Yeah, it just seems totally ridiculous. And I mean, do you think that the Japanese are gonna get it? I mean, are they okay with this?
I don't know how this is gonna play out.
Nintendo hold all of the cards, right? I mean, Nintendo's Nintendo. They want complete power over their stuff, right?
Right.
So they can pretty much do exactly what they want to do. So I mean, they hold all of the cards, so I mean, they're going to play this out the way they want. They don't care what anyone else thinks. So,
Nintendo game prices typically don't ever drop until they're added to the player's choice or whatever line.
Exactly, yeah. So, I don't know, it just smacks everything about this download stuff. It just smacks wrong. To me, it's just terrible. And it as much as I'd like to go digital, this is something that's going to make me steer away from it.
Mm-hmm. It's really nice not having to swap carts.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why I did it.
That's the total benefit about it, but I don't see why I should pay more for something that I don't actually have anything physical at all to hold, to look at. I mean, I don't even have the choice of taking it back to the store and selling it. Mm-hmm. So to me, this is just wrong. I mean, I have a gaming budget, or I'm not a gaming budget. I have a budget, full stop. So, for me to be able to buy a physical copy and take it to the store, and resell it and use that money for my next purchase is something I really need. Otherwise, I basically don't get to play any games. So, but I mean, I would seriously think about buying digital stuff. I mean, I've already bought digital stuff from like PSN, but that's because it's mainly because it's not region locked, because I can buy it from the States. which helps.
Yeah.
And it's obviously because the Japanese yen's so much stronger than the US dollar at the moment. Games are proper cheap, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's got its benefits, but yeah, I mean, I would like to go digital, but because of the boundaries, I'm not going to be able to. And the way Nintendo have decided to do that whole digital distribution, I don't think I'll ever get on board with it.
Yeah, we'll see if the sales numbers comparison between the physical and digital versions will.
Do you think that they'll release that?
I
feel like because they're in card form, they could if they wanted to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, because it's something physical you can actually buy from the store, but whether or not they give those details out is another thing, right?
I suppose it depends on how many they sell.
I don't know if Media Create or Famitsu are going to report that. I mean, this is, unprecedented in the Japanese market, so it's hard to say what's going to be reported and what's not. I would put my money on it not being reported.
Right. So, why couldn't they just, instead of doing this where you have to buy the actual game, the physical game, and pay more money for it, why couldn't we just use the points cards that you already buy?
You can use the point cards.
Oh, you can?
Yes, you can.
So does that work out any cheaper at all?
No, you'll pay full MSRP.
Okay. So there's no benefit whatsoever?
No.
Wow. Digital revolution, eh?
Yeah.
Takes more money off you than you buy a physical game for.
Stay real, Nintendo. Stay real.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Because do you think they're going to have a unified system for the Wii U?
You mean an account-based system?
Yeah.
They said they're going to.
Really?
And it's going to be integrated between Wii U and 3DS.
Right. So does that mean the 3DS is going to get a whole new OS?
I imagine it's going to get a pretty big update at some point.
It means that on the back end, they're going to have, the proper data structures in their database to support that, and they're going to have an updated user interface in the eShop to reflect it.
Theoretically.
Yeah, so it's going to be largely transparent to the user. It's going to be more a matter of you'll see it when you transfer your games to another system or stuff like that.
Huh. Okay. So have we talked enough about Super Mario Brothers 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think you should talk about the co-op.
The co-op.
The co-op, right? Okay. Me and Mehdi played some co-op. I'm on the 3DS LL, and he's on his regular 3DS. At first, I hated it because if you veer too far away from each other, you can't see your character, and then you obviously you've got no control. You don't know where he is, and then about maybe 5 seconds later, you'll float back onto screen in a bubble.
That's pretty much how it has been.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't like the way that it focused on the main character, because you have a little icon above your head who's the main character, and the camera will always stay focused on that camera. So whether or not if you're not the lead character, whether or not if you're not close enough to the character who has the icon on his head, you lose track of your character pretty quickly. So at first I hated it. I was like, oh my god, this sucks. And then I realized that you can actually steal the icon from above their head. So if you jump on them and if you jump and then stomp them by pushing down and jump, and you do that stomp. Yeah?
Yes.
Hip drop.
The head drop, right? So if you do that above them, you can steal that icon off them, and then you're in control. And once you could do that, and you actually played it cooperatively. So, okay, I'll take the lead, you take the lead, I'll take the lead. You have to really talk to each other. I mean, you can't sit there silently. If you sit there silently like you would normally do when you're playing a Mario game, you sit there silently. You don't. I don't know. Do you talk to yourself when you play these games?
I may hum. I think I hum a little bit.
Right. So, but humming is not exactly beneficial when you do multiplayer, right? So you really need to coordinate between the two of you. So I mean, that's good, because it means that you've got to be a little bit social. So you've got to be able to talk to somebody you're playing with. Whereas normally you when you're playing a game like this, it's normally just you, and you're normally shouting at the screen anyway by yourself. But yeah, I mean, you have to talk with the person you're playing with. I'll take the lead, you take the lead. I'll go, you stay here, I'll stay here, you stay there. You know, you've really got to work with each other. I mean, because there's a bunch of things where, for instance, there's like a barge and it's floating along the water, and both of you have got to be standing on the barge at the same time in order for the barge to actually move. And then if one of you are off the barge, it stops. So there's a bunch of places where you've got to maneuver the barge into a place and then like jump over blocks. But while you've got jumping over blocks, there's enemies coming as well. So the person in front has to take out the enemies and also get maneuver him into a particular place where he can drop down back onto the barge so it continues along its path. So there's a lot of talking with your partner on that. So that's good. I enjoyed that. But I mean, we only played it for 30 minutes multiplayer, so I'm not too sure the way the whole thing works. But as I said at the start, I didn't like it because of the way the whole camera system worked. I would have liked it where like it was a 2-player where like the screen like split into 2 or something, you know, or like the camera would just focus on you and it would give you like an icon of like to tell you how far away maybe the other player is.
Well, I think they put the players together to force you into those sort of cooperative.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. But so I mean, so after a while and after getting used to it, I got used to it and I kind of liked it. So I liked that whole co-op thing, like working together. So,
yeah, when I played on the Wii, that was some of the best fun. We had like a whole room of people, 4 people playing together. That was some good fun. Everyone running, getting in the bubble, you know, like we had one person always play in the bubble, and if everyone died, that person in the bubble would die too. We'd always be shouting, "Don't be in the bubble right now." You know, all that sort of stuff was a lot of fun. So it's good to see it at the handheld level, but it's such a missed opportunity with no online. I hate to keep bringing it back to that.
Yeah, it is because it's local only. It's local co-op.
But seeing them do Mario Kart right, and then this.
Yeah, that's a shame. You know, they got Mario Kart done.
That was so beautifully done. I had so much fun with the multiplayer on there.
It's like giving you false hope.
Did you like what aspects of the game itself did you like? Just like not the co-op itself. Like, how did you like when you were in 3D mode? The actually like the background blurs.
Yeah, the background.
Does it create this like depth of field effect?
Yes,
I thought that was kind of nice.
It's really, really pretty. It's all pastel colors in the backgrounds, and they're really nice pastel colors. I mean, the 3D looks great when you put it into 3D. I'm actually looking at it right now, and it's very satisfying.
The graphics are nice. I liked the coin block head.
Yeah, coin block head.
That's fun because it's just like pouring out all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you run or you jump, right, the coins just fly out everywhere. It's great. I really like that. Have you? Because I got to the stage in multiplayer where there's a huge ghost.
Yeah, the ghost is chasing you from left to right. And the screen's moving and you have to stay ahead.
Yeah, but you both have to look at the ghost in order for it to stop not one of you. So that's fun.
Oh, that's a new... Okay, that doesn't exist on one player, I don't think, right?
On one player...
I think it just kept going.
The big ghost advances the screen for you if you look away.
Yes, so if you look at
as long as you're looking at the ghost, the screen won't move, and you have to look away in order to progress.
And they had like a lot of like the big star coins would be like you'd have to go to the right, then jump up, and then go back. So it's forcing you to look to the right for a little bit before you have to go back to get it. So it would actually create these like harrowing situations where he's like right on top of you. Yeah, I mean, that's what they tried to do. It wasn't that difficult.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. You've got the ghost advancing towards you, and you've also got other ghosts as well. Obviously, the little ghosts in the environment, but the big ghost, you both have to look at him at the same time in order for him to stop. And that again, that's fun because the way they've designed the levels, you've got to be able to like maneuver yourself into certain positions because like the way the enemies are positioned and stuff. So sometimes there'll be a bunch of enemies on screen, and like you're both trying to take the enemies out, and you're trying to stop the ghost advancing at the same time. So you're both like saying, "Look at the ghost! Look at the ghost!" And then enemy, ghost, and it's quite fun. And it's really amusing to play a multiplayer game like that, and you're both shouting at each other like, "Look at the ghost! No, go, run! Take the enemy out! Ghost, go!" You know? So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of interaction between your multiplayer partner, and that aspect of it is a lot of fun. So I really enjoyed that. So yeah,
there are a couple areas where I don't remember this so much in the previous Mario games, but where they had in plain sight big star coins, but some of them were kind of hard to get to. There was one area where when you acquire the big star coins, you get 5, like in the previous game. And then you can exchange those in, and then it will open up a new branch level. So like if I was in World 2, and I would open up a branch, instead of going 2-1, 2-2, it would go 2A.
Right.
And like in the 2A level, they had this area where it's the big coin was in plain sight, but you had to jump with the Shippo Mario, the Raccoon Mario.
Yeah.
Right.
But you had to like actually, you dash at a full speed, and then it makes this little chime, and that means that you can fly. You have limited temporary flying ability. So you jump to this next platform that's moving on this rail, and just before the platform falls off the rail into the abyss, you have to jump off with just right, and then jump upwards and grab this coin. But if you jump too high, they've got like a little platform right above the big coin, so you actually miss it, and you end up above the coin, and it's really hard to get it just right. And I died like 10 times trying to do it, which was fine because I had like 30 lives already, within like the second stage. I don't know how many lives you're at right now. Are you up to like 50 or so?
Oh, it's ridiculous. I just got to World 6, and I have 179 lives.
Wow.
So no wonder it was biggest in Japan. He finished it in 6 hours, right?
Yeah, something like that. He said on Twitter.
Yeah, some guy, one of like, some
Kotaku writer, Richard.
Kotaku writer, yeah. He finished it in 6 hours. So I mean, obviously he hasn't finished is not the entire game, right? I mean, you need
does that mean that there's not like a whole big back end?
I don't know.
That we don't know about.
You didn't expand on it, so.
Because if you do go through, and also when he said he finished it, did he? Like I said, there's 2A and 2B, and there's different areas that you can go through. You can skip all of that and just try to like finish the game.
Yeah, I mean, what he said was it took maybe 6 hours, an hour per world. So
I just wonder if how thorough he was, if he was skipping a lot of different levels.
Probably not very.
Right.
Not very, as in he was probably
not very
skipping.
Thorough.
Yeah, not very thorough. And some of those levels are quite fun. Those side, I feel like they're a little bit harder than the main ones. I don't know. When saying harder, it's not really that difficult to begin with. But.
No, I've yet to be really challenged by this game. It reminds me a lot of the first half of Super Mario 3D Land, which was just kind of like a cakewalk until you got to the real game.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, you had to play it first, right? You had to finish it first before it got hard.
It's like, come on, just let me get through this. I want to play the real game. Come on, I'm not a beginner. Just let me through to the real thing already.
Right. Now, there's I mean, as I said, I haven't played enough of this game to talk about the single player aspect of it. But I mean,
I'm certain that the area where it's getting like the levels are changing. It's not like the snow level, and I guess there's going to be some nighttime levels and stuff like that. So.
Right, I like the blocks where it would be a single coin, but they're not. It's like 3 blocks long. So I mean, they're trying to give you as many coins as possible. There's coins where it's like a silhouette or an outline of a coin, and when you jump on the outline of the coin then appears and stuff. So I mean, there's a lot of. This game just loves to give you coins, and if you watch the TV commercial, the little girl the girl who's playing is coin.
I asked Haruka.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great commercial, actually.
Yeah, but
except in English, you're just saying loot.
Yeah, but she's saying coin, and it's pretty cute the way she's saying it. I really like that. But yeah, I mean, from what I've played of it, I really enjoy it. Although the boss fights, they all just seem to be like really simple.
Well, the Resner, I think is his name. Is that what it is? He's it's like this Ferris wheel type of movement. And there's 4 platforms, and then there's a guy on each one. You just have to hit them from below, and meanwhile, like the floor beneath you is slowly eroding, but it is ridiculously easy. And I'm like, at first time there was just 2. Yeah, first there were just 2, and then there were 4. I think then there were 8. But like, this gimmick, we've already done it, and having just played Dokuro quite a bit, where each level is completely unique, and you have to really try to wrap your head around it.
Each stage,
you can't really rest on your laurels. It's funny, I remember thinking, oh, this is a great game to tie me over until Super Mario Brothers comes out, and yet I find myself comparing it critically to Dokuro, going, well, Dokuro did it a lot better in that you walk into something completely new, and you really don't know what you're looking at first, whereas here you're constantly moving left to right, and there's coin gimmick, but there's really like no level gimmick that's hard to crack, which is kind of a shame. Whereas Dokuro had like a platform, and it also had the gimmick of the platform, or the gimmick of the level, and then it had the actual platforming itself, which I think they balanced it out a little bit better. Whereas the actual levels, they're kind of cool. You're like, oh, maybe, I don't know, something like the little fishies, like their eyes light up when you're underwater, and then they hone in on you or something like that. You're like, oh, that's cool. I didn't see that before, but it's really low level stuff. Nothing that completely blows your hair back.
The problem with a throwback game like this is that it makes so many references to historical games in the series that it's like, yeah, we've done this before. And it's like, seems like there's relatively little new that they throw at you.
It's like a historical showcase of, look at all these things we've done and that you have experienced that you can now adequately handle with no problem.
Right. It's like, we've trained you up to be the level of gamer that can handle this without a problem.
Right.
Well,
but I'm still, like I said, I'm a simpleton, but I'm enjoying it. I don't feel I'm having fun playing it, even though it's not entirely really very difficult at all. I think one of the biggest disappointments for me that shows them that they weren't trying to innovate is all the music is almost exactly the same.
Oh, and I hated the music from
That's my biggest gripe. It's
probably my biggest gripe. It's all just like a slightly different tune, like a different instruments or a different tempo
But I really can't stand the new Super Mario Brothers theme.
Oh God!
All respect to Koji Kondo, he's a great composer, but the new Super Mario Brothers theme is really annoying.
It's mind-numbing,
and it's got those wah-wahs to which enemies stop and dance, which
that doesn't do anything for you either. The turtle he gets up and does this little. Remember the skeleton where he does that little dance when he's in wait mode in Dokuro, Martin?
Yes.
The turtles are doing that now, right?
Yes.
I don't know what they're...
They've always been doing that in the new Super Mario Brothers games.
I've never noticed that. I guess I'm just too busy popping them off into the abyss.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand how Kondo would be proud of that feature, how the music actually figures into the gameplay, but it's not the best way to go about doing that. I think
coming off of the Galaxy music, it's just... It hurts.
I mean, to see assets just blatantly reused like that, it's like, was there any effort that was put into this at all?
Nope, not really. Well, yeah, I mean...
And that on that note, one of the funnest things was becoming gigantic Mario and just crashing the levels.
Again.
Just going right through them.
But that's been done before, right?
Right, but I mean, it's fun. You're just kind of not really playing the game as it should be, because you're just going through the level, destroying everything.
It's like Hulk smash,
Gaijin smash.
I don't like the underwater parts. Though. I always thought underwater parts in Mario were kind of lame.
The fireballs under the water are starting to get to me.
Of all the things.
Yeah, of all the things.
It's just so illogical for him to be shooting fireballs.
Because you're not being challenged, and then you start thinking about these weird things.
You would think that the fireballs would cause the water to steam around it.
I know,
there you go.
Or how does Mario hold his breath for that long?
I was thinking about that as well.
You guys are funny. So let's
the mind wanders.
So, okay.
Yeah, the mind was wandering a lot because you're not challenged, but I don't know.
So obviously, you guys can't sell it. So, is it worth the money? I mean, if you're a Mario fan, obviously it's a definite must buy, right?
It's like a formality at this point.
But, I mean,
that doesn't sound too inviting to me.
I don't think this is a game I'm going to keep because I bought the retail version. To me, it doesn't scream like innovative or anything like that. You know,
I'm looking forward to
rehash. To me, as far as I'm concerned, it's just another rehash, and it's got a coin gimmick in it, and that's not enough for me to keep the game.
Well, I'm like Martin. You're going home for summer vacation, and actually, I'm going to England as well, right?
Yes.
We're going to be meeting up there. Sure. But I'm looking forward to going on the airplane with this and trying to go for some million coin grind,
really?
as Elliot said.
I don't think I'll be doing that. I'm not too sure.
You're not going to be killing your time on the plane?
Yeah, I'll be killing my time, but I don't think I'll be doing it with Mario.
It would really be ironic if you went through all the pain and hassle of gathering 1 million coins.
Just says, good job.
And then out comes Beetle from Wind Waker who says, I appreciate you.
Oh, God. That would be terrible. Oh, that would be awful.
Yeah. I think you'd have to, at that point, open the window, the door on the plane.
Just decompress the whole
chamber.
Sorry, boys. We're going down with this one.
Yeah, so, okay, let's move on. I think we should move along to... Stephen, have you been playing Persona?
Yes.
How many hours are you into it now?
60.
Elliot,
golden.
How many hours are you into Persona?
He has passed me in hours.
Oh, really?
I'm 57.
Jeez. So, are you at the same point of the game, or...
No way.
There's no way, yeah.
Oh, that's very condescending, but that's okay. You played it once.
Well, I mean, the speed, though, I was going through, like, certain events compared to, like... Because earlier, we talked about this, and I think when you were at, like, 20 hours, and when I was at 20 hours, we were in very different places, if I remember correctly. That's the only reason to say that.
I'm almost close to real time again, because it's almost August. I think I'm like August 3rd.
Wow. Man, I feel like I play through games too fast because...
But you played it, though, once, so...
Yeah, I don't know, like, just with RPGs in general, like, I tend to fall short of the amount of hours that most people seem to put into them, and I try to do everything I can, like, I don't rush, but, yeah, I'm like 57 hours in, and I think I'm in October right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I got to a point in the game where I'm in the dungeon right now, and it suddenly the water temperature dropped, and it got a lot more difficult. And then I started playing a bunch of other games, which I won't talk about. Other than that, I was finally playing some Bayonetta, and then also playing some Heavy Rain, and just started doing exactly what I shouldn't be, trying to playing multitask, and then not getting anything done. And then, of course, Max Anarchy came out and Dokuro came out.
It's hard because this is a busy season for games, so it's like you want to try the things.
Wait, you bought Bayonetta?
Yeah.
Holy crap. When did that happen?
When Medi came to Tokyo.
Oh, it did?
When he bought his snake skin leather pants knitted by Kojima himself.
Yeah. He kept caressing that thing like it was his...
It's his signature 3DS.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him get that, and then I said, well, maybe I needed to get something. And so I tried to just, add games. I had some games I haven't played that are really good. I figured I'm playing those right now.
Okay, so which version did you buy?
What do you mean?
The 360 or PS3?
Oh, I bought a PS3 for Heavy Rain, and then I bought Xbox.
Jason.
Yeah, I'm really liking that game. But for Persona, Like it just got really difficult suddenly. And you know how they have the Zoan where they have the reinforcements, Elliot?
Yeah. Those become very important.
They're becoming very annoying is what they're becoming, because you have to fight 3 guys. You finally beat them off. They probably even spawn a couple other guys because they can do that. So it's like you'll build 3 guys, you kill 2, 1 guy spawns another guy, you kill all of them, and then it says Zoan, which is just reinforcements, and new guys are appearing there, and it's just really, you have to really be on top of things.
I mean, that's where you really have to have your personas prepped and ready to like debuff and work around all these things, and that's kind of the core strategy of the late game, is having a persona for every possible situation.
That's kind of where I'm feeling I don't have that all down perfectly. Yeah. I was like, I need to have a talk with you or Kyle. Make sure that I've got all the personas I need.
Because that's key. Otherwise, you'll be getting killed like in regular battles left and right, because you'll just be caught unaware by like an enemy that's completely, you know, invulnerable to magic, but not weak against physical attacks either. So like you're not.
Well, what it is because you'll have these enemies who can not only you can't even do any damage to them, but they can reflect it back to you.
Yeah.
And so you have 3 guys attacking, and you're going through like the different lists of different types of elements of magic, and everything's reflecting back to you, and there's only one weakness that they have. So you have to go through and find all those for all these new enemies, and it just gets like this process of elimination. It gets a little tiring.
So,
I don't know.
So you guys were Stephen, Elliot, and Kyle playing Persona 4. You almost made Cheesy buy it, but Cheesy then decided not to buy it because of what Atlas did.
Of what?
Correct.
Because of what?
Region Lock on Persona 4 Arena PS3.
Persona 4 Arena?
Wait.
That's a game.
You're talking about not Arena, but Persona 4 itself you decided not to get because of that?
I was going to look into the franchise because you guys had got me hyped up about it on this podcast.
Right.
But then the whole Region Lock fiasco happened, and I decided against it.
Wow. That hit you hard.
Yeah.
It sure did. But yeah, so okay. So
can I just talk a little bit about that game?
Which one?
Or Persona 4.
Yeah, sure, I'll go for it.
No, I just want just a slight criticism towards it. They have a couple mini games in there.
How dare you? Yeah, how dare you?
They have a couple mini games in there, like the little fishing game, or where you have to catch these little flies. And actually, those were really nice. You actually had to do something that wasn't just either combat or pressing the button to forward a conversation. There was like actually required some arcadey skill.
Right.
And it was fun, but having that in there, it gave me a taste of something that I realized I wanted a lot more of. Do you regard that as a fault for the game, Elliot?
Not especially, because it's an RPG, and I mean, like,
it seems like there were so many opportunities in there.
There are,
like for Yakuza, that was like something that they did really well with, and they're sort of like almost pitching it to you, and you can almost imagine here would be a great mini game in Persona, but it really doesn't.
I mean, it doesn't bug me too much because I'm used to most RPGs being mostly menu-driven, experience, especially the Persona series. I mean, earlier games were really, really menu-driven. So it's not really something that's ever been in the series, so it's not something I've ever really missed. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's never really crossed my mind. I rarely even do the fishing mini games and stuff like that in this game too. So
okay, because it's one of those like few areas that you can actually go to in the very beginning of the game. So even though you can't fish yet, so it's kind of there the whole time.
Taunting you.
Yeah, and then I don't know, maybe because I'm such a big movie buff and how good of they may have like a really good attention towards the detail for many things, but when you can finally get to the other city and then they've got this movie theater, like you can finally go see a movie. I'm expecting some little cool graphic where you sit in the theater and you can see the projector or something, but they come back out of the theater and they're like, oh, that was great. They don't show anything in the theater. I was pretty bummed.
Oh my God, there was no theater in the theater.
No, it was big because it's like you go to the next city and it's kind of like the main thing right there. It's like smack dab in the middle of the city.
Cool little thing though, that actually was not in the original game.
And that's even worse because they had an opportunity to do something, and it seems like it was very much an afterthought.
Whereas I looked at the additional city and I was just like, oh man, new shops to go to.
Right, I can see that maybe. Interesting.
No,
but the story is really coming together more and more, and the whole aspect of these characters who are just wrought with these personal issues, having to face like the weaker version of themselves in front of everybody in like plain sight. So if you can imagine like any of these, you got skeletons in your closet, which I'm sure you all have because you're dodgy gamers.
I literally have skeletons in my closet.
You can imagine, suddenly like 5 or 6 people around you see you confronting like the worst facet of you. Exactly. Like, there's this manifestation right in front of you it's like in plain sight, and each of these characters have to go through this process. And in going through that, these other people say, we saw that facet of you that really that doesn't like encapsulate who you are. We still like you for that. And then they have this like really good bond because of that. And like,
so do you become a paladin after that?
Wait, what's that?
Do you become a paladin after that?
A paladin?
Okay, Cecil.
Right.
So
okay.
the story is really good though. I'm really liking that aspect of it. And you're seeing all these new characters, and you're wondering like what type of whack job this person is, and like how their weakness is going to manifest in this big boss that you have to fight. And it's kind of really funny.
So,
good game. It's just getting really hard right now.
So, you haven't played any of the Personas at all?
Not at all.
So, okay. So here and Steven play this because he hadn't played it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And he's new to the franchise and stuff. Was it his side that made you think, I want to play this, or was it because of what Kyle and Elliot said about it?
Fangirling over it.
I think it was more their excitement over the series that kind of got me hyped up and interested in it.
Right. Okay. So I was just wondering what side of it made you think, oh, I actually want to play this.
Well, I haven't really, played a whole lot of RPGs outside of Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Simply because they're so time consuming.
Right.
I mean, I've still got a copy of Xenogears and The Last Story and what was the other game? Pandora's Tower that have been largely unplayed yet because I simply don't have time to play them.
Been eating meat, have you?
Yeah, getting his meat on. Pandora's Tower.
Om nom nom nom.
He hasn't played it yet. He's like, what are you talking?
I haven't played it yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Spoilers.
Sheets meat.
Sheets flesh.
No,
monster,
okay, cool.
Monster flesh.
Thanks for the spoilers. Anyway.
It's not a spoiler, really.
It's great.
It's good. It's a good game.
So to add another RPG, to my plate would be a pretty big commitment. And
this is a big one.
Yeah,
it's a really big one. Yeah.
A 70, 80-hour RPG, then, I have to really give it some thought before I commit to something like that. And if Atlas is going to pull those kinds of shenanigans, then I just don't want any part of it.
You would call that a I don't want to.
Yeah, we went into this last episode, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it's something that that could possibly trigger everyone else to do it, so it's not a good thing at all.
Yeah, it's no joke.
It's not a laughing matter or anything to think, oh, it's not going to happen again, because like one company's done it. It could trigger a whole bunch of companies to say, oh, hang on, let's not do this. Let's do what Atlas did, and a way to piss everybody off.
Right.
What game are we talking about again?
Persona
Arena.
I picked that up, right? Actually.
Yeah.
I know. I caught some flack for that in the GAF thread too. But the first thing I did upon purchasing this game actually was put it in my old PlayStation 3, my American system, just to see what would happen.
And it said, F you.
In the event that it was like, surprise, it works. That didn't happen, unfortunately. I put the disc in, and the system recognized it as Persona 4 Arena. I had my system set to English, so it recognized it as the English title, etc. which was cool. And the icon for it showed up with the artwork and stuff, and the background wallpaper of the PS3 theme turned into the Persona 4 Arena background wallpaper. But when I actually clicked on it, I got an error message saying that this game is not the correct region for your system, and then it just wouldn't start up. So,
so you went out and bought a new PS3 then?
Yes, it cost me a total of 4,000 yen. Score!
That's 2,000 yen cheaper than you said on Twitter?
It is 2,000 yen cheaper because I was not calculating it right.
Oh, right, okay. You ripped your mate off then?
No. My PS3 isn't dying. It's just, it's a Generation 1 PS3. It still works fine. It still loads stuff fine. It's never really given me any issues, but, it's an older system. So the threat of it dying is certainly not, unheard of. But... yeah, I sold the system to him and, pretty much paid for my PlayStation 3. And I've been playing a lot of Persona 4 Arena. Talking about the game quality, region locking issues aside, if you're a Persona 3 or a Persona 4 fan, this game is chock full of fan service to you. I haven't touched the story mode at all because I haven't completed Persona 4 The Golden. So if there's any connecting plot threads there, I didn't want to spoil it for myself.
Right.
So I can't really talk in depth about that at all. But I played a lot of online multiplayer. Because I'm a big fighting game fan. I've been playing this game in arcade for months now. And at least for the PlayStation 3 version, this game runs so smoothly. It kind of blows my mind. I've played over 50 online matches so far, and I've run into a severe lag spike probably once in that entire time.
And you were playing against somebody else in Japan, right?
In Japan. So, I'm talking about Japan internet and playing against Japanese players. I can't speak for what the Western experience is going to be like because, internet speed is all over the place out there. But here, at least, against other players in Japan, the speeds are fantastic. I personally, I've been trying to look for input lag using my arcade stick, but I haven't been finding it. I've been able to pull off my combos just fine. And it's very impressive. And, even outside of the online, the menus themselves, this sounds really silly, but the menus are really well designed. Steven, you've been playing Persona 4 The Golden, so the menus are just colorful and very aesthetic.
Absolutely.
And this game is no different. One of the really cool things is the main menu where you have all the different game options. In the background, they used the image of the main street in Inaba, the main shopping street that you're constantly on, where the Chinese restaurant is and where the old shrine is. And it's not just a still image; it's an actual graphical representation of it. And then they randomly place the fighting game models on that street. And if there's Persona 4 characters on the street, it'll play Persona 4 music randomly, different types of Persona 4 music. If the Persona 3 characters are on the street, and this really surprised me, it'll play different tracks from Persona 3, which I didn't even know were in the game.
Wow.
So, for instance, the normal, day-to-day theme you hear in Persona 3, they'll just be playing it over the main menu, which is really surprising to me because, it's mostly a Persona 4 game. But for people who, let's say, have only had experience with Persona 3, I imagine that must be very nostalgic for them as well, because that's also an older game comparatively, And that switches randomly. Just every menu is very colorful, bright, easy to navigate. I've only played arcade mode and online mode, but I've been having a blast with it every single night. This is a loaded title. There's a lot of content here. So,
do you think that playing at a competition level in an arcade, a person will go home and play online, but they'll basically not be frustrated by you saying there's no really input lag at all?
There's always going to be input.
You don't feel like you're constantly comparing it. Oh, this is really good for home, or this is good enough toward I feel like I'm playing at the arcade.
It's hard to emulate that arcade experience, but I feel perfectly fine if I can't make it out to the city on a Friday night, staying home and playing online. I don't feel like I'm getting a significantly worse experience. I still feel like
good.
I'm sort of getting the abilities I need to take to the arcade, which is really impressive. I think Arc System Works has been really good about that in the past. And I I wasn't really sure where they were going to land with Persona 4 Arena, but this is a great game online. I know the 360 version's been having some issues. Different online blogs have been talking about it, but as far as the PS3 goes, it's been smooth sailing.
And what about the controller? You just whipped out some sweet cash for a nice controller, right?
Yeah, I have a really crappy arcade stick that I bought for like 2,000 yen, and it's the buttons are really bad. You can't mod it at all. It just doesn't feel good. It's hard to execute certain moves on it. So a friend of mine, who's also another big fighting game player, sort of convinced me or peer pressured me into finally getting a new stick. And it just so happens.
Cost?
I mean, good sticks can cost anywhere from like really good sticks will cost anywhere from 10,000 yen to like 2,000 yen, depending on what you're looking for.
10,000
to 20,000.
20,000, I meant. Yeah, 20,000. Sorry. And the Persona 4 stick, which is really, really nice, it's a Hori stick, costs 10,100 yen, something like that. It's actually not too bad as far as good fighting game sticks go. I mean, these are the sort of things, though, they're long-term investments in the sense that you're going to be using it for a long, long time for a lot of different types of games. So if you really seriously play fighting games, you kind of have to have one. Because they play, I don't know, for me personally, I have a really hard time playing fighting games on a normal PlayStation 3 DualShock. Some people like it, but yeah, the shoulder buttons, using them in a fighting game just bugs the hell out of me.
So, how many characters is there in total?
In total, I believe there are 13 characters, so about the same amount as there were in the original Blaze Blue.
Okay, and they are all variations? Are they totally different to each other? I mean,
totally different. So, you don't have the kind of like Ryu, Ken type characters where like it's pretty much the same character with some minor differences.
Right.
Everybody plays very differently because each of them has a different type of persona. That is a huge factor, Like the main character, right. Narukami has a giant, like his persona has this giant weird sword thing that he uses that he wields, and it can kind of grind against the ground, and it goes a pretty long distance. His range is very good. But the character I play, Chie, her persona, is comparably awful, you might say, because it has a much shorter range. You can't really move it after it's out. Each persona plays very differently. Each character plays very differently, so there aren't no two characters are even remotely alike.
Okay, that's good. So, yeah. Frame rate wise, this is what, 30?
No, I think it's 60.
Oh, it's 60. Okay, that's good.
2D fighting games typically are 60.
Okay, that's good. I wasn't too sure the speed of it. And when it's online, it's still locked at 60?
I wasn't seeing any dips.
No dips at all.
It would say synchronizing on screen before the match started, and even while the, ready, go was starting up. But as soon as the match started, nothing.
It's all 2D hand. Is it hand animated, right?
I mean, yeah, they're sprites, I believe. But they look really good. They look fantastic. So
there's no 3D in this at all? It's just...
The backgrounds. The backgrounds have a lot of 3D in them.
Oh, the backgrounds have the 3D. Okay.
Yes.
So the character... the
actual characters...
The characters are all 2D. Okay. So, I mean, comparing this to, like a Street Fighter or a maybe King of Fighters, I mean, how is it?
Nothing like those two.
Right, okay, it's nothing like those. But I mean, Evo was on 2 weeks ago or something like that. Is this a game that you think that you would see in those kind of fighting tournaments? Is it that level?
Oh yeah, it's definitely that level.
It is.
Whether it's actually gains enough popularity to do that is one thing, but it's definitely a good enough game to be up there.
Okay.
For sure.
Right. Okay. I was just wondering because this is obviously it's a new franchise to the fighting game genre, right?
Yes.
So I'm just wondering if it's gonna pick up so much.
It's gonna be at Super Battle Opera SBO here in Japan, which is like Japan's biggest fighting game tournament.
Right. Okay.
It's gonna be there this year. So.
Oh, that's
Japan
already.
Loves the game, so.
Yeah, I know Japan does, but I mean, this game, it's not available in the arcade outside of Japan, though, right?
No, but granted, arcades out west, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 also isn't available technically in arcades.
Right.
But, Western players took to it much more than Japanese players did in terms of sheer numbers. So.
Right. Okay. So you would fully expect this to go onto the fighting game scene then?
I think so. Yeah.
After release. Okay. Cool. Cheesy. What were you playing? You were playing an OS game, right? An iOS game, which is a Western game.
Yeah, I won't get too much into it as it's a Western game, but I've been playing Manos, The Hands of Fate.
Based on that awful movie?
Yes, based on that awful movie.
Manos.
Wow.
What is it? Can you explain it?
Manos, The Hands of Fate was popularized on the television show Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah, good old horror.
Which, if you're not familiar with it, is a guy and two robots making fun of the worst movies ever made. So,
is that the way they sit there in front of the theater?
They got their silhouettes,
right? Silhouettes in front of the screen. Right.
Yeah,
okay.
Silhouette characters in front of the screen with the theater seats and everything. So they just
American horror flicks, B movies,
sci-fi.
Yeah,
just awful movies.
Very cult status movies, sort of.
Right. So they just make jokes through the whole movie, and it's hilarious stuff. If you haven't seen Mystery Science Theater 3000, I highly recommend it. The most famous episode is Manos, The Hands of Fate, which is probably one of the worst movies they ever watched.
Bad.
It was made by this fertilizer salesman in El Paso, Texas. And is about this polygamist cult run by this guy called the Master, who wears this fancy black cape with big red hands on it. And they worship this occult god named Manos, which incidentally in Spanish means hands. So if you were to translate the title, it would mean Hands, the Hands of Fate. So basically, this guy in England, who's a fan of the show, took this movie from this episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000 and made it into an 8-bit video game on iOS.
He probably spent more money on the game than they spent to make the movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was like a $20,000 budget movie. So I'm sure.
I don't know. The guy did the game in a couple months, according to an interview.
Oh, was it just a couple months?
Yeah, and it's styled in NES fashion, so it's kind of like Mega Man 9 or 10 in that regard.
Oh, okay.
So you play this husband of the family, Mike, and he has to protect his wife and daughter from this polygamous cult. And it's the concept of the game is like the old licensed games on the NES that were just like platforming, run and jump and shoot games with
not actually connected to the movie.
Not much connection to the movie itself. I mean, it does reflect a lot of the characters and plot points in the movie, but it's largely just random everyday world.
Can I ask you a question? Why on earth did you start playing this when it sounds garbage?
Well, I'm a longtime fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Right, I think that's where it is.
Yeah.
I've seen Manos, dozens of times, and for $2 for an 8-bit platformer game on iOS.
Sounds like something that angry video game nerd would be doing a bit on.
Exactly. In fact, the creator of the game cited Angry Video Game Nerd as an inspiration for this game.
Oh, really?
Complaining about just those sorts of tropes that are recreated in this game.
Right.
So he purposely made it terrible?
Well, it's not terrible.
So
the worst thing about it are the button controls on a touch screen, which are sometimes non-compliant and send you to your untimely death. But other than that, I mean, it recreates the jazz soundtrack of the film pretty faithfully, which is really nice. And the sprite characters reflecting all the different characters from the film are well done. So I liked it a lot.
Okay.
So how many reviews does this have on iTunes? Is it selling a lot? Or
there were like 2,400 people had placed on the leaderboard last time I checked.
Okay.
And the reviews on the iTunes store, let me see. It has 107 ratings at 4.5 stars.
Okay.
Is that just?
I just finished Ski Safari, so I'm looking for a new iOS game.
Ski Safari?
Oh yeah, it was good fun.
iOS.
You guys play some real quality games. you got a PS Vita, you've got a 3DS, and you're playing $2 crappy OS games.
It's great arcade.
It was fun. I liked it.
Don't forget about the PSP.
Talking about PSP.
Segway.
Yes, PS3. Yeah, Elliot, you're playing a little game. I think it's taken over your life, right?
Nayuta no Kiseki. Yeah.
I'm gonna be here too. Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, you must be glad that Kyle isn't here because they both beyond
I would just.
That would be bad.
Here we go.
That would be real bad.
Good night.
So we all know my love affair with Falcom these days. They're pretty much my new Squaresoft. Especially since I've been digging into the past and playing their older games and being nostalgic for things I didn't actually play. So this past Thursday, a game called Nayuta no Kiseki came out, which is technically the 6th game in the Kiseki series. The first one was localized into English last year as Trails in the Sky,
right?
A Japanese RPG. And there have been 4 games since that one, so a total of 5 games connected to one another. It's a really big, sprawling story. It's probably my personal favorite RPG series of all time, just as a full series, not taking individual games. But this new game, Nayuta no Kiseki, is not a traditional RPG, as we've talked about on the show before. It's an action RPG, so more in the vein of the East series that they've developed. So basically this game has been developed to be kind of an entry point for people who have always been a little bit intimidated by the Kiseki series because it's so long and so big, and you kind of have to go back in time quite a bit in order to catch up. So this is kind of the new entry point for newcomers to sort of experience the kind of storytelling that they have in those games. Mm-hmm. So it's an action RPG. So you have a dodge mechanic, you have a jump, and you have a long list of abilities that you can unlock as the game progresses based on how well you do in stages. So you have a hub world, and this hub world is called Nokosarijima, or kind of like Remnant Island, I guess you could say. And it's a small little town, and you have NPCs, but what really kind of differentiates the NPCs from other RPGs is that each non-playable character has their own story that develops over the entirety of the game. And this is a story you can choose to experience or choose not to. It's all based on whether or not you talk to them. So basically, you'll talk to a character at the very beginning of the game and you sort of get a feel for what type of person they are. And if you go back to them in between events and talk to them again, you'll find that they have their own lives, their own problems that they're dealing with. And by the end of the game, that problem, they'll have solved it or they'll have asked you for help, something like that. So every single character feels like a living, breathing person in this world. And in previous Kiseki games, this was actually kind of daunting because the world was so big that you'd spend hours running around of your own free will, talking to all these different non-playable characters because you wanted to know what would happen to them. You'd have one character who maybe broke up with his girlfriend and you wanted to help them get back together, so you're running around looking for them through the entire game.
When you say free will, do you mean they're just purely optional side quests?
Purely optional, not even side quests. This is just like instanced NPC dialogue. And it fleshes out the world and makes it feel like, you were saying in Persona how when you talk to Nanako after, you come home from school and she's talking about how the questions on the TV show are hard and how that doesn't really change.
Right.
In this game, it would change. If this was like Persona 4 developed by Falcom, her dialogue would change every single day.
So if they're not, like, this is the time you're supposed to have a conversation and move forward with your social links with her, they would still have it fully fleshed out, even if it wasn't that moment.
Basically, if you go back after any kind of event takes place, minor or major, you'll find that all of the NPC dialogue has changed to reflect that. Even if they weren't connected to whatever event, their dialogue will have moved forward. So technically, you can miss, character arcs because you're not paying attention.
So speaking of character arcs, so how do you know what is the main story arc if everybody has a story that's just as rich as the main one?
Well, it's not just as rich, but because I mean, you're only getting chunks of text at a time. The main story is kind of voiced. It's more grand. I'm not going to spoil anything because one of Kiseki's charms is kind of its really well-written story. But I mean, there's a very clear difference, like the main story is very linear, and these are just completely optional things.
So you say that they use the voice actor to cue you that this is the main story arc, whereas other stuff is just written as text.
Yeah, I mean, not the whole. All of the main story isn't voiced because this is a Falcom game and they're a very small company. But I mean, it's always very obvious what the main story is.
Okay.
But the cool thing is that this hub world, Nokosarijima, is small enough that like you maybe have 20 NPCs, give or take, who are just really well fleshed out, and like you kind of want to go talk to them because they're interesting characters in their own right. So a lot of the game's time is spent just kind of running around this town, like talking to people and just kind of seeing what's going on. But the actual action itself happens when you go into this other world called Lost Heaven. Which is this, you have 5 different areas. You have this hub where it's kind of like a temple, and then you have 4 different areas that surround it. And each one is kind of based on a season. And so if you go to the first area, like cherry blossoms are sprouting, and it's kind of like a spring feeling. And, the level design is solid. And at first, it's not really anything special, and you're kind of wondering if it's going to get any better. But as you progress in the game, you unlock the ability to change seasons in every single level. So, for instance, that first island is spring.
That sounds kind of pretty unnatural, though. You're unlocking the ability to change seasons rather than natural progression.
In the story, though, like the season changing, like that device is like the core of the story. So, like when you get back a certain gear, because you're trying to retrieve these gears that are like destroying this strange world, these gears give this machine the ability to change seasons back to its sort of natural state.
So it's out of sync right now?
It's out of sync.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the whole like aesthetic is very steampunk in a lot of ways, but like the season changing is a story element as much as an element. So it's very organic in that sense. But for instance, you can change that spring area into a summer area. And if you do that, the enemies will change. Certain layouts of the levels will change entirely. So, things that were blocking your way in one will have died and withered away, so they won't be blocking your way anymore. And it completely changes the way you approach levels because it's completely fresh. It's almost like you're in a completely new level. And I mean, for all intents and purposes, you are. Because, new enemies, new layout, new music, new graphics. And depending on the area you're in, you can do this to all 4 different seasons. So pretty much 4 times the levels. And the cool thing about this game is that, Falcom's not exactly known for their incredible graphics, but this game is beautiful. I mean, it's just very colorful.
Did you download? You didn't download this then? You bought it you bought the UMD, right?
UMD, because the UMD passport is starting at the end of August for 1,000 yen. So I figured, I'll just wait.
Okay, so you don't know what this actually looks like on a Vita yet?
No, but I've heard that it looks fine. Our good friend of the show, Hasemo, talked about it a little bit, and he said, it looks good. But the character models are big. They're emotive. Enemy designs are really sort of varied and interesting. The whole game just looks great, and of course it sounds great because it's a Falcom game. The JDK sound team is amazing. But it just, I guess the best thing to compare it to, it feels like a PlayStation era action RPG, but with like legitimately good controls and sort of Falcom level of writing, which I feel like it's been a really long time since we've had a game like that. My first thought goes to something like Mega Man Legends.
Mega Man Legends, okay.
It kind of reminds me of that, especially with the NPCs and like the smaller area, and that sort of town that feels like alive with actual people. I was thinking about that today when I was playing. But it's been fantastic so far.
So people like Mega Man Legends, you would recommend that? For
sure. If you like action RPGs, I'd recommend it. If I had one complaint, and this kind of answers Hasemo's question for me in Twitter, but the best and worst thing about Nayuta no Kiseki, the worst thing I'd say are the bosses, at least on normal mode. Bosses are very easy, which is kind of strange considering Ys bosses are typically really difficult. you can adjust the difficulty in game at any time as long as you're not in like a mission. So if you want to, go to hard mode in the middle of the game, you totally can. I haven't tried that yet, so I'm definitely going to check that out later to see if it adds a little bit more to the difficulty. But on normal, it's definitely too easy. The bosses, other than that. As far as the best thing about the game is, I would say just the atmosphere, the feel. It's nostalgic, despite the fact that like nothing like it has ever really I can't really think of a game that's totally like it. The story is just really interesting. The characters are fun and well developed. Just the whole package is very polished. And, for a late coming PSP game, toward the end of the PSP's life, you wouldn't really expect a game like this, but...
Hang on, is the PSP still alive? I thought it was being dead forever.
Yeah, exactly. It's just very, very good.
So, the other characters, do they help you when fighting?
Actually, this is a core thing, is that, so you're mainly playing as the main character, Nayuta, who is this 15-year-old boy, but you do have a partner, and her name is Noi, and she's this little fairy, and you can use her and, how to say this, she has the ability to use magic. And so when you're attacking with your sword or your two-handed spear or whatever, you can have her launching magic spells at the same time. And she has a whole ton of abilities that you can unlock as the game goes on. So it adds a whole new dimension, in which case, you're switching between like an ice attack while like maybe running around an enemy to strike him with your sword. But otherwise, there is no party system.
Right. Okay, is that good or bad?
It's fine. I mean, typically, the East games were always solo affairs, except for East 7. But
don't you think it's a bit weird then if you've got a load of characters who are with you and then they don't help you?
Don't ever have a load of characters with you.
Oh, you don't?
No. You're never really traveling in a party.
What the? Okay. Sorry. I thought you did.
No.
No. Okay. So you're alone. You're a loner.
You're with your partner Noi, and that's it.
And that's it. But she doesn't help either, no?
I mean, she uses magic, like I was saying. So she's always on screen with you, and when you press the square button, she'll fire off whatever magic you have equipped.
Right.
And you have slots that you unlock, and you can switch between different magic attacks.
Okay. Okay, well, that makes a little bit more sense.
I gotta say, you've been talking about it a lot, so I at least checked it out like a couple weeks ago, and yeah, it definitely looks pretty good for PSP.
Yeah.
No, it looks phenomenal for a PSP game. Yeah, it looks great.
Right. I mean, period, it looks pretty good. Yeah, and for phenomenal for the PSP.
I mean, part of it is the art style, like the art design. It's just it's kind of quasi cel shaded. So everything looks very clean.
It's not online at all, is it?
No, it's a single player game.
It's all single player, right? Okay. Cool. Is there anything else on this agenda that we... Oh, I played a little bit of Super Monkey Ball on the Vita.
Yeah.
What?
And finished it in about an hour.
You finished the whole thing?
Yeah.
Not just plow through it, you completed it?
I didn't get... I mean, I complete... It's got like 3 stages. Easy, normal, and hard. The hard one is pretty hard. But easy is stupid easy. And normal is easy.
That sounds about right.
No, but normal is easy, and hard is very hard. So much that you want to throw you probably want to throw your Vita out the car. I was playing in the car, so yeah.
You're playing it in the car? Going?
Yes. Not while driving, obviously.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Right. Yeah, I was driving with my knees while playing a PSP, a Vita. But no,
rage playing while driving. It can't be good.
That gives a new meaning to the term road rage.
Yeah, I was thinking that going. That's a new genre. A person probably won't survive long enough to create the genre, but
no, it's but I mean, I actually had fun with it. I had a lot of fun. The mini games are great. There's bowling. There's the. I don't know if you remember on the GameCube. You remember the.
Yep.
Where you rolled.
I see where you're going with this already.
What did you say, Cheesy?
Yep.
Oh, you played it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you play it a lot on the GameCube?
Yeah, I played it pretty thoroughly. I played through the whole thing, and even on easy mode, I mean, some of the later levels are pretty tricky.
Oh, I found the Vita one on easy, extremely easy.
Yeah, I think that whole series has gotten to be dumbed down.
Yeah, I think the whole thing's been dumbed down. Yeah, a lot. But it's got all of the mini games from like the GameCube. Do you remember the one where you open up you open up your ball and you go like,
Monkey Flight?
The flight, yeah, that's in there. So
Monkey Flight. Do they have Monkey Bowling?
They have Monkey Bowling, yes, and you hold
Monkey Fight.
Monkey. I think they have everything from the GameCube. It's all represented in there.
Oh dang!
It's got a pretty cool AR mode in it as well.
Really? Go on, please tell.
What you do is it'll take basically use the camera, and whatever you take a picture of, it'll somehow randomly generate a level for you.
What? Okay.
You take a picture, and it'll randomly generate a level depending on what picture you choose, or you take a photograph of. So, like, obviously,
how does it do that?
Well, I don't know. It looks at the picture, and I don't know.
Does it pick out different areas of the picture to create courses along? Does it, like, find
kind of, yeah.
You have a freaking iron board in your... Does that take that in the whole level or what?
Well, as I'm saying, it just takes a picture. I think it analyzes the picture, and it just randomly puts stuff everywhere. I mean, I took a picture of my steering wheel, and it didn't look like a steering wheel, the level. Uh-huh. So I was like, okay. So I took a picture of a banana, because Super Monkey Ball, bananas, and...
Right, I get it.
Guess what? It didn't look like a banana.
No, what did it look like?
So is that really poor automatic design, or what are we talking?
So what I'm saying is it just looks like they're taking a photograph or anything and just randomly generating anything from it.
So, like, the photograph has little to do.
Yeah, the photograph has very little to do with it looks like what it's randomly generating.
That sounds pointless.
It does.
It sounds completely pointless.
It sounds totally pointless, and it is pretty much pointless because the levels are pretty crap. That it generates.
Wait, hold on. Wait, you said you liked AR. I'm trying to figure this out here.
Well, because I like AR. Maybe not in this game, but it was.
You're glad that someone's capitalizing on AR,
trying at least.
At least they're trying with something. I mean, you've got like levels you can download off the server because if you take a photograph of it, you can upload it to a server. So I guess depending on what you take a photograph of, will.
It sounds so pointless.
It is pretty much pointless, but it's a way to make the game longer because as you finish the game, it's pretty easy. So then, basically, when you finish the game, the only thing you've really got to play with is the mini games and this generator that generates random crap levels for you.
Speaking of random crap, can I just ask you a question?
Yeah.
So when you were doing the live stream, did you create a grave for the Vita with your camera?
No.
Oh man,
not at all. Because the Vita's not dead.
You look at him. I knew it. He knows I'm trying to get under his skin.
I know, but you're not going to. Sorry, you're not going to get under my skin with that. That was lame.
Well, no, I mean that you didn't do it because of your things.
Nah, didn't want to do that. There was no need for that.
Aww.
You need to do it when it's a whole new platform, not a redesign. Maybe.
Okay.
But
cool.
at the moment, no, it's not.
You still got your scruples?
Yeah. Of course.
All right.
Of course. Okay. So games, what we've been playing seems to be finished.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Dude, I found Gyrogetter.
Oh, you did?
Oh, God.
Oh. Dude, you didn't tell me.
Oh, no.
You didn't tell me. You didn't tell me that was like a little Danny DeVito version.
Yeah, it's small. It's made for kids.
It's a tiny one. It's a little Danny DeVito one.
Yeah, it's made for kids. That's what I was saying.
Are we really calling it the Danny DeVito edition?
Dude, I went in there and I'm like standing up and like my face is looking at like the top. I could like see the dust on the top.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And I went and sat down and actually tried to play it.
On a little stool?
And I'm like, on a little man's stool. And then I pulled out my video, my camera. I'm like, I'm going to do a proper video. This is going to be great.
Oh, no.
And then, like,
there's like
the coin, there's like a coin changer machine directly to my right. And like, I had just went to to the immigration to get my new visa and all that stuff. So I had some time, so I just stopped in. And this is just as school is letting out, so all the high school kids are pouring in.
Oh no!
And then here's this grown man, Gaijin,
with a video camera
and Gyrogetter, and three 18-year-old chicks in their prime walking up to the coin changer. I had to pull my camera right in my pocket, and I'm just sitting there going, yeah. So I tried to do that perfect face where it's like I'm sitting down playing a game that is retarded. I know it is, yet I'm smiling.
Who wants some of this?
Yeah, like, hey, what is ladies? This crap? I'm just checking it out, though. Hey, ladies.
I forgot to say that game was auto accelerate as well. There's no gas. It just accelerates.
But it was. I gotta say, it was really cool when the gyrometer things pulled out of the actual machine as the steering wheel went up. I was thoroughly impressed.
That's about the best thing about it, but that's not amazing, though, right?
It was pretty amazing for a video cabinet.
Okay.
Video cabinet.
Sounds like he got his money's worth.
So how many cards did you get?
I had 4 or 5 or something like that, because I played twice.
Oh, really?
And then the second time I just kind of walked away.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know you. Who is this? Why am I here?
Yeah.
Someone's just watching you walk away from this machine in the middle of the game. What is that guy doing?
Right. I did walk over and start playing Sengoku Taisen, the Gokishido no Yu, which is that card game where you buy the cards and you have to move them around and manipulate like you're the Generalissimo Shogun, and you have to move your armies into battle by moving the cards forward onto the playing field. That game is so hard. Yeah, but I am starting to get into that, so hopefully some point when I get my head wrapped around it, I'll be able to report on it, because it is hardcore. And it's all period Japanese. So you have to, unless you watch a lot of in Japanese, they have what they call the Tiger Drama, which is the big NHK series where they'll do something on what happened during the warring period in the 1500s, or something like that. And there's a certain style of speak that you have to get used to, and it's pretty hardcore. But they do have a tutorial which you might like to know. They have this Murio Taikenban thing where you can actually just sit down. You don't even have to pay any money, and you can play the tutorial just to get your feet wet, so you can figure out what the hell's going on.
So you don't waste your money and then immediately die not knowing what's going on.
Right. But I did actually buy the card and then that recognizes you as the player, and then I bought the actual playing cards that you can use for your different platoons of soldiers and stuff like that. But it's completely over my head. I sat down and played it for a couple hours, and then watched some of the guys actually playing it, and I couldn't really figure out what they're doing that could translate well, and this is the movement I should be doing, because their hands were moving all over the board, and I couldn't really figure it out. But it's a lot of depth. I don't know if either one of you have played it.
I've played what is it? The Square Enix one, Lord of Vermilion?
Yes,
something like that.
Did you get to the point where you felt like you were competent?
No, I only ever played it a couple times because there's no machine down here. So it's always been when I'm up in Osaka or Tokyo. But it was really cool. But yeah, no way to get to those machines.
The hardest thing is just doing it your first time, and all the people around who are really good see you there not knowing what you're doing. And
you're sorry guys,
I know.
Your time.
But I just wanted to walk away at one point because everyone was so good, and they're just kind of who's this guy? But now I'm finally past that hump, so at least I'm not a complete tool.
Okay, I think we should move on. We got some even though this week Zasshi time is pretty pathetic.
Oh yeah.
Even Famitsu rated it pathetic by not giving a single game in Famitsu a 9 or above.
It's not enough money, that's why. People didn't pay enough, that's why. Right?
Looking at this list of games, that doesn't surprise me too much.
What's on the list?
Okay. We have Madagascar 3 for the 3DS.
Next.
No one's right.
We have Wanyan Dobutsu Byoin 2. So Meow.
Veterinarian school.
Veterinarian school, yeah.
Smile, Pretty Cure, Let's Go, Merry Hen World. Okay.
Hang on, is that Pretty Cure?
Yeah.
My daughter loves that. I have to watch that all the time.
They didn't give it a good score.
No. We have all Kamen Rider, Riders Generation 2 for the DS. And then we have the PSP version. And then we have Moe Moe Dai Senso Gendaiban.
You cannot be serious.
Which I'm not even going to talk about because it makes me feel bad. And then you have Soreyuke Blue Nyanman Portable.
What was that?
You should just stop.
Can you say that name again?
You don't even need to know what these are because they're just terrible. Yeah, so let's move on.
Say that name again though, but do it with a Jamaican accent.
What? No.
I will.
Moving on.
Okay, next. Right. So what's in the mag then?
Well, the one thing I could find that was interesting, and I think would interest a lot of our listeners too, is God Eater 2.
Oh, nice. Bring it on.
Which some of you might remember as kind of one of the bigger Monster Hunter clones back in the day.
Yes.
For the PSP. Except this one it had a story, it had an actual cast of characters, and it had sort of more of an anime aesthetic. But it was pretty popular. It did really well, despite being a Monster Hunter clone. And they announced a part 2 about 8 months ago, and then they never said anything else about it ever again. At the time they announced it, the art style is kind of reminiscent of Final Fantasy Type 0. So sort of that more realistic kind of Tetsuya Nomura-esque belts everywhere craziness. But yeah, a lot of people were wondering what happened to this game because they literally said nothing about it. And it just resurfaced recently. And as some people had kind of theorized it would resurface as a Vita game, but no, it's still a PSP game.
That's kind of disappointing.
But they said they have an announcement for the fall that they say that people should look forward to. So I'm anticipating some kind of Vita upport or something.
Yeah, they ported it to the 3DS.
That would be.
How is Vita the afterthought, though? I'm just trying to figure this out.
Well, I mean,
their strategy.
They started development on this a while ago, but what they did say, because they were asked why the radio silence, and apparently this game has gone through a lot of different phases of trial and error. They talk a lot about how they kind of would build the game up, and then they would just take it all apart again. And it sounds to me like they really want to do something different and interesting, because they talk about how they were thinking, how can we best, answer our fans? How can we best make something that'll make the fans happy? And they didn't seem to be pleased with what they were making. It just didn't feel like it was enough.
Right.
So it kind of strikes me as though they're trying to be more than just a Monster Hunter clone and really try to kind of strike out on their own path. There are more weapons this time as has been talked about in the past. But they're also doing more with the story as well, and NPC characters, every single NPC character having their own story arc that's optional, but if you do it, you'll strengthen the bonds between characters and they'll be better. Their AI will get better, the different types of moves they'll have will get better. But yeah, they talk about how they completely rethought the art style as well, because I guess at the time they were just shuffling between different types of art styles, and what they settled on was kind of Type 0-esque, but now 8 months later it looks like they're going a little bit closer to the anime style they had in the first game while kind of inching more toward realism. It looks good, definitely. I am a little bit disappointed it's not on the Vita yet, but I really enjoyed the first God Eater, so my fingers are crossed.
All these pictures of these attacks in mid-swing look really good.
Yeah.
All the energy bursting out, and you can see the trails.
I mean, one of the coolest parts of the original game is being able to create your own different type of bullet. You could craft your own bullets, and you could craft the arc of the bullet. When certain things would explode. It was actually pretty cool. Because you only really had one type of weapon in the first game, that was kind of God Eater's way of allowing you to customize your character by giving you, the option to combine bullets and mix and match. Now you have more than just the gun and the sword, though. You have a spear, you have a short blade, a long blade, a buster blade, you have a hammer now. And I wouldn't be surprised if they introduced more types of weapons as we get closer to a release. Which originally they said they were aiming for a release, I believe at the end of this year or something like that. But as of right now, that's all up in the air. They say that it's probably going to take a little bit more time. So I'm curious as to what's going on over there.
You can customize how the bullets are moving.
Yeah, like the different arcs, like whether it's going to be going up in the air and down. It was actually really complicated, and at first I didn't really understand any of it. It was kind of intimidating, but like after you get into it, you can customize. If you shoot the bullet, will it shoot into tinier bullets, stuff like that. It's really cool.
I was thinking of Tom Selleck's Runaway.
Oh yeah, that was good as well.
Except with giant monsters.
What's that?
Except with giant monsters.
Yeah, right.
That had little enemy spiders, didn't it?
That had like the little spider robots.
Yeah, spider robots. Yeah, it's called Runaway.
Yeah, Runaway.
Yeah, God Eater 2 is looking quite good, so something to keep your eyes on.
Sweet. Okay. Anything else in Zasshi time? There was a reader poll. What was that? 5 games.
Famitsu, for lack of any other big news leading up to TGS, did a poll of its readers asking them what their favorite games in each genre are.
Okay, that might be interesting.
It's a list.
What page are we on here?
It's
everybody turn to page 147.
Yeah, seriously.
So starting with action games, we've got ranking at number 1, Super Mario Brothers for the Famicom.
For the Famicom?
Famicom.
Wow.
Super Mario Brothers, the original. 1985.
September 13th.
That's right.
Red Letter Day.
Yeah. Followed up by Monster Hunter Portable 3rd, Monster Hunter Portable 2nd G, New Super Mario Brothers on the DS, and Shadow of the Colossus.
Awesome.
Huh.
Yeah. So,
2 Monster Hunters in the top 5 seems a bit redundant, but okay.
Aren't they consecutive Monster Hunters?
I like that you said that and you didn't say Super Mario Brothers.
That's a good point. You're right.
Yeah, but those are on different platforms, though, right?
Yeah, that's true, too.
They're both platformers.
Yeah, but I know they're both platformers.
But on different
they're
systems,
different systems and totally different generations. Whereas
like
Monster Hunter is like a sequel to the other one, right?
Yeah, they just kind of line them up right there next to each other. That's a bit odd.
So RPGs are next.
Yes, ranking at number 1. Take a wild guess.
Zelda? Link? No.
You know what's going to start with FF?
Yeah, then some Roman numeral.
Y'all know which one it is. Yeah.
4.
Yeah, I don't even play him, and I know.
Yeah, so following that up, number 2 is Dragon Quest III for the Famicom.
Oh, nice.
Followed by Final Fantasy X, then Dragon Quest V on the Super Famicom, and then Dragon Quest IX on the DS.
Damn.
So, of the top 5, 3 of them are Dragon Quest and 2 of them are Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy.
There you have it.
Though, in the side box here, it does go down the rest of the top 10. It says that ranking at number 6 and 7 consecutively are Pokemon Black and White.
Oh, come on, Japan.
It's like, really?
Come on,
you need 2
Japan.
spots for that? Really? Yeah. Number 8 is Tales of Exilia.
No way.
Yes way.
There are way better Tales games.
Well, that's what the reader said.
Getting heated.
Number 9 is the original Dragon Quest. And then number 10 is Persona 4 on PS2.
Oh, really?
They need like Gaijin in Japan versus Japan. And see what the different answers are. I think we'd get some heated debate.
So next up is action RPGs, and I guess I'll grab this.
Go ahead.
The first one is
Secret of
Mana.
That was
Forsaken Densetsu 2.
That was amazing.
Which
that game.
the Super Famicom, so I can feel that. And then you have Kingdom Hearts, the original for the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Then at number 3, you have Seiken Densetsu 3, which never came out in America, actually. It's a sequel to Secret of Mana.
You know what bugged me about that game?
What?
I actually got a Super Multi-Tap and 2 friends together and 3 controllers.
Yeah.
On my modded Super NES with the import edition of Seiken Densetsu 3 all together at the same time to do 3-player.
Yeah.
We got the 3rd character in the party. We pressed start to join the party, and nothing happened.
Does it not support 3 players? Is it only 2?
It does not support 3 players. It's only a 2-player game.
Oh, that sucks. One of the coolest things about that series is the multiplayer.
That pissed me off so much.
Otherwise, it's a great game, though. Number 4 is Dragon's Dogma. That's random. And then number 5 is Demon Souls.
That's the Japanese Skyrim. I mean, they take pride in that game.
Yeah, hey, you know what? It's all good. All right, action adventure is next. And we got Zelda no Densetsu Toki no Ocarina, so Ocarina of Time, at number 1. Number 2, Zelda no Densetsu Kamigami no Triforce. I believe it's Link's Awakening?
No, it's A Link to the Past.
A Link to the Past? Oh, what am I doing? Okay.
Oh, someone's adjusting the glasses.
Yo, Japanese names in me, I'm not familiar. Number 3, Biohazard. Okay, I would never put
translate that one too?
Yeah, Resident Evil. The original.
Is that the original one, right? On the
Good job.
The original one for the PlayStation. You know what, guys? You're all mean.
The next one has Romaji. Will you be okay?
Yeah, I'm done. I read the Japanese just fine.
You give up and quit, go home.
Go ahead.
But yeah, number 4 is Okami. Number 5 is Zelda no Densetsu, the original. I would never.
Okami's a good time because that's just coming out, right? The HD.
I would never put Resident Evil in the same genre as the rest of these games, but hey, whatever.
Action adventure.
Yeah, action adventure, I guess.
That was a lot of action back in the day for kids.
That's very true.
That scared the crap out of a lot of people as well, with dogs jumping through windows.
Yep. So for simulation, so basically strategy RPGs. Number 1 is the new Fire Emblem Awakening for the 3DS. Number 2 is Tactics Ogre for the Super Famicom. Number 3 is Final Fantasy Tactics for the PlayStation. Number 4 is one of the Super Famicom Fire Emblems. I'm not familiar with the series, so that goes right over my head. Number 5 is SimCity.
Yes.
A Western game.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that version of SimCity.
I've never been much of a SimCity fan.
Right, but that
it says it's fun, increasing population, which is kind of ironic considering their dwindling population.
Oh, burned.
I think Japan needs to remember how fun it is to increase the population.
I know. This is not very funny there.
It is. I can apply to that. It's good. I can attest to that even. It's good. It's good fun. You should try it sometime, Japan.
Should practice SimCity. I should give it out for free in stations, or in the line for free condoms. Anyway,
adventure games. A couple of these are Japan only, but I'll at least read the top 3. You got Steins Gate. You have Phoenix Wright, so Ace Attorney, and then you have Kamaitachi no Yoru, which is actually
I want to play that. I think
that's releasing in English for iOS.
Which one?
The original Kamaitachi no Yoru.
Oh, really?
Which is like pretty much the original sound novel, the original visual novel, so to speak.
Because you can go out in the middle of nowhere in Nagano and go to the actual place, the pension where they shot that game, right?
Yeah. That's Chunsoft. And then what else do we have here? Racing, shooting, and Cocteau action. Racing. It's Super Mario Kart for the Super Famicom, followed by Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS,
Gran Turismo,
followed by Mario Kart Wii for the Wii.
The three-peat.
At number 4 is Ridge Racer for the PlayStation, and at number 5 is Gran Turismo 5 Spec 2 for the PlayStation 3.
What does that tell you about Japan's preference for racing games?
I think they like Mario Kart.
Maybe.
Dude, I went on the weekend. They've got the arcade versions.
Yeah.
And it was packed.
Really?
It was rammed.
They always are packed. Those games.
Those games. But next is shooting. Gradius for the Famicom at number 1. Star Soldier for the Famicom at number 2.
That's a great game.
Twinbee for the Famicom at number 3.
Twinbee. Oh, I used to love Twinbee.
Star Fox 64 for the N64 at number 4, and Xevious for the Famicom at number 5. Keeping it retro.
That's really shocking how it's all classic games.
Considering how the past few have not been.
All these are like all these are arcade games, right? Most of these.
These are
all of them except for Star Fox 64 were in the arcade at one point, I believe.
Yes.
So there's a lot of nostalgic tinges, you know.
Okay.
It's like, what happened to the shooting genre?
Seriously.
Where did it go?
Died. Next is fighting games. At number 1 is Street Fighter 2 for the Super Famicom.
Yes.
At number 2 is Virtua Fighter 2 for the Sega Saturn.
Did they just do a survey with a bunch of guys who were 30?
This is basically whichever readers responded.
These are the
survey.
targeted readers of Famitsu these days.
But I mean, it's probably like from a pool of like 200 people. You know. Number 3 is Super Street Fighter 4. Number 4 is Tekken 6, and number 5 is Dead or Alive 4, which I have a hard time believing.
No, they just like the boobies, that's all.
And then the sections get significantly shorter. For puzzle games, Tetris for the Game Boy at number 1, and then Dr. Mario for the Game Boy at number 2.
Why the Game Boy version?
And then for sports, you have Pro Baseball Family Stadium at number 1 for the Famicom, and then Mario Tennis 64.
Family Stadium was a big series, though.
Yeah, I know, but really?
Yeah.
I guess I'm feeling some little nostalgia going on there. Yeah.
And that, we have two more. First-person shooter, third-person shooter, they lumped them both together.
This is crazy.
Number 1 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
Another wrestling game, right?
Yeah. At number 2 is Call of Duty Black Ops.
This is, mind you, this is FPS TPS.
Number 3 is Halo. Number 4 is GoldenEye 007 for the N64. And then at number 5 is Gears of War 3.
On the 360.
Yes.
Man, 360 actually showed up.
360. Got it, yeah.
They have an other section. Oideo Tsunomori, so Animal Crossing for the DS. And then Tomodachi Collection, so Friend Collection for the DS. I don't think that ever released in America.
No, it didn't.
Nope.
Okay. And then at number 3, you have Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy. Number 4, you have Professor Layton and Mysterious Town. I'm not sure which one that is in English. And then number 5, you have Dokodemo Isho. So together
wherever.
Oh, speaking about Theater Rhythm on the 3DS LL is a lot harder than the 3DS.
Because you have to move the stylus further?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a lot more real estate, isn't there? So playing those type of games is actually harder than playing it on the 3DS. So, yeah, take into account of that when you maybe purchase your machine, that it's not exactly the same. It's slightly different because you need to move slightly further. We noticed that straight away. As soon as Mehdi is a bit of a savant at
I just put enthusiastic savant.
Interesting choice of words there.
Yeah, but he's pretty good at the old rhythm games, and especially he's very good at Theater Rhythm. And as soon as he started playing, he went, "Damn, it's harder." Basically because of the real estate of the screen. So yeah, take that into account.
Noted.
Thank you.
All right, and I think that's about it, really.
Don't do the characters.
We're not doing the characters.
No, that's lame.
I'm leaving.
I'm leaving. I'm out of here.
Oh,
that's it for Famitsu this week.
Wow, Famitsu was pretty lame then, right? This is basically because of TGS, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all the news has been spent already, and the next month and a half are going to be pretty empty.
Pretty empty. Okay, so let's get into some... Shall we do some numbers? Software numbers? Media Create sales?
Nothing really big on the software side.
No.
Except for Kirby.
Except for Kirby, yeah.
100,000 units. It was Kirby's Dream Collection, right?
Yep. Not even a new game.
You didn't pick it up, no?
Nah.
No.
The box,
I do like Kirby, but
the box looks nice.
That would be like a great present as a gift. Like just something to receive.
Mm.
Right.
As far as systems go, though, PSP sold better than the Vita this week.
What a shock. Surprise,
Which I think is a
surprise.
first.
Go for
No,
it,
it's
man. I
not.
got to make that grave.
Keep digging,
Yeah.
keep digging.
We need to make a bet. Like, if it gets to a certain level, you have to make the grave.
Though,
my
to be
gosh.
fair, everything did pretty awful this week, except for the 3DS, which is still hovering at like 44,000. But everything else was in, PS3 was 15,000, PSP was 13,000, Vita was 11,000, the Wii was 9,000. That system's pretty much done. And everything else was just, low numbers overall. So
If you look on page 48 of Famitsu, you'll see the Vita has been trailing the PSP most of its life.
It has. It has.
I mean that doesn't surprise me. But I mean, like on a weekly basis, it's generally not been beaten by the PSP. Like,
No, that's not the case either.
Really?
It's only been ahead of the PSP since week 2 of June.
wow,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
Well,
Yeah.
when you look at the library that the PSP's got, it's not really.
It's not
It's kind of
comparable.
obvious, right?
Oh yeah.
You look at its library, and it's more substantial library than the Vita. It's got the games that people want to play, Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
So I mean, where are people going to go?
Yeah, I think the combination of a lack of Monster Hunter with the kind of hamstrung backwards compatibility is really kind of hurting the system a lot.
Yeah.
To TGS.
To TGS. Okie dokie. I think we should go into emails and tweets and
Do it.
What's that?
Yes.
Do it. Get to the chopper.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Get to
Let's get to the chopper.
Let's get to the
the bed.
do that.
Let's get to the bed. Yeah.
Bed in the chopper.
Get to the bed. Okay, so Crackalack and Z with the food question said pig out time.
God, these are getting weird.
Yeah. Pig out time. What
This is
dish?
abstract.
What dish would you order? LL or XL?
If LL means living large, I'm going to assume there's quality with quality. Quality with quantity.
I was going to say quality. Quality.
It's getting late.
Quality.
It's getting early. Quality. I want
Quality.
quality.
I want
I'm going to
some
assume
quality.
there's both there, so I'm going to pick LL.
I'm gonna go.
Wait, no. I think
it's asking-
what he's asking is, what sort of food dish would you order in a very large size? What would you eat a lot of?
There you go. There you go.
That was such a pained laugh.
Tebasaki. I'll order a crap load of tebasaki, which I ate yesterday with Mehdi. I took him to the first time to eat
What's
Yama-chan.
that?
Chicken
Yama-chan,
wings.
chicken wings.
Chicken.
Nagoya chicken wings. It's all in the flavoring, baby.
Oh my goodness!
I would order any kind of. I would order kimchi ramen, LL or XL. Definitely.
Muzz.
Ugh, you don't even know. You don't know.
Kimchi is disgusting. It's
What? Get out. Get out.
Yeah, I won't eat kimchi. Thanks.
dude,
Kimchi's great. I love it.
kimchi's
Thank you.
disgusting. Man.
Thank you, Steve.
You open your fridge and boom, you just fall on the floor. Like it just knocks
On
you
the
out.
floor.
You got such a limited palate,
Pleasure.
man.
Nothing to do with your palate. It's the smell, man. It's overpowering. It just takes over your whole fridge.
You eat food with your nose anyway. I mean, you should be able to handle anything.
It's the smell of rainbows and sunshine.
Get lost.
Oh no, not even close.
No, it's not. It's not.
Stinging
You're just
death is what
No,
it
you've
tastes
never
like.
eaten it.
There you go. Yes, Deb. Actually, the first
Give
time
you
I
some
ate
zing.
kimchi, I threw up.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's your
Come
fault,
on.
not kimchi's fault.
No.
Anyway, level.
And this was made
Come on.
by a Korean.
Yeah,
as well.
you know what? People who don't like kimchi aren't good people. So
I guess
whatever.
I'm not good.
Yeah, me and Steven, we are good people.
Damn,
Keep
it's
saying
Living
that.
large, living large.
overpowered.
Large.
Living varied.
Okay, so the next question comes from
You
JRD84.
skipped me again.
Me too.
Oh, did I?
Look at you, just like you vent and
Okay, I'm sorry.
leave.
So what would you
No,
order then?
I know it gets a little long after 4 people, so you can skip us on that one.
No, you tell me what you want. So stop complaining about
All
it
right.
and then say, "Oh, skip
I
me."
want seedless Japanese grapes.
Ah.
Do you have to peel the skin on those?
After the 50th one, yes.
Actually, that's a good point. That do you peel skin on grapes? Because like my wife looks at me as I'm weird because I eat it with the skin on.
You know what you should do? This is what I've done. Like, you get a group of 4 people who are all taking the skin, and then when they're done, I just grab all the skins and eat them.
You sounded like a lunatic the way you described that. Just get them all to peel the skins and then you eat them.
I thought you were going to say that you're going to rub them in their face or something.
Fava beans.
Or wash your belly with them. I don't know.
Oh, God. Cheesy, what about you?
I would probably order a large portion of katsudon.
Ah, okay. I can respect that.
Which is fried breaded pork
cutlet
over rice.
Forget the rice. I don't eat rice no more. It makes you fat.
There you go, Martin. That
rice is just full of carbohydrates. Don't eat it. It's bad for you.
Okay.
Respect.
Okay.
If it's just the pork cutlets by themselves, they're served on a plate with a side of lettuce.
That's
good.
Yes.
Pour some of that katsu sauce.
I ate that today.
Yeah. All right, if you guys keep talking, I'm going to be eating a full meal at 2 in. So
yes, onward.
Okay, JR84, he says, not sure if this has been covered before. What's the first game you imported?
Oh, God. Want me to finish real quick? I've never imported.
What?
In Japan? You've never imported a game?
Oh, that way?
There you go.
Yeah, I've done that.
Do it
First one?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, Elliot.
Penguin over here.
It's Penguin, yeah.
My pipe.
But he did bring up Danny DeVito before, so anyway, go on.
Yeah.
Elliot, what was the first game you imported?
First game I imported was Sakura Taisen #1, so Sakura Wars.
Okay.
Strategy RPG from Sega.
Right, okay, go.
Final Fantasy V.
I can't quite remember what mine was. It's between 2 games. They were both on the Mega Drive or the Genesis. So the Mega Drive, they were both Japanese games. It was either do you remember the Sunsoft Batman game in the small cartridge case?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
It was either that or Mystical Flying Ninja, or otherwise known as Decapitac in the West.
Wow.
Nice.
Great localization right there.
Yeah. Decapitac, yeah.
I remembered mine. It was I FedExed Overnight Express Halo 2.
Wow.
Overnight Express, baby.
Wow.
Was it worth it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so next, JR Potential says, what's the image of summer vacation portrayed in Japan?
I'm not quite sure the...
Festivals, watermelon.
Watermelon,
okay,
right?
What images come to mind? All right.
Watermelon.
Fireworks.
Yukata.
Yukata. Oh, yeah.
Gaita.
Yeah.
Cicadas.
Japanese yukatas.
Yeah, cicadas, and they're screaming.
Well, which cicada do you like the best?
I don't like them.
That's like, what kind of torture do you like the best?
No. If you hear, they have a type of cicada called higurashi, which only comes out in the evening, and it's excellent.
No, the ones where I live are deafening in the morning.
Yeah.
Those are probably the minmin zemi.
Yeah, it's like I can't.
Those are really loud as well.
The ones where you look into the trees because they're so loud, but somehow you can never actually see them.
That's awesome.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like
the frogs in the river. There's like
yeah, they're like the predator of insects, right?
Like the predator of insects.
Yeah, you can hear, but you can't see. You're like, where are you?
Candy?
Yeah,
they're in there somewhere. I just want to
candy?
destroy them.
Yeah, he's in the trees.
Seriously, though, look up higurashi if you get a chance. They sound awesome.
He's in the trees.
They're very cool. They have a very cooling effect when you hear them.
Okay, Kyofu, what is it, 2011, says, favorite cheese. So, Cheesemeister, Mr. Cheesy, go. You must know.
Parmesan.
That's so average.
Really?
I love it.
Okay, Parmesan. Okay.
I like it as a dressing on meatball subs.
Oh, don't talk about... Why are we talking about food?
That's so non-avant-garde, though, man.
Elliot, go.
Cheddar.
Whoa. Okay, go, Steve.
Ninja Gaiden Pimento.
Hey?
If you remember.
Nope.
Okay, God.
Okay, mine's camembert because I ate it yesterday.
All right.
Yummy. Hasemo?
Yes.
He asks J-pop, K-pop, or none of the above. None of the above.
K-pop.
You mean none of the below? That's not above me.
Yeah, that's
K-pop for sure.
Really?
Yeah, because it's more like American R&B most of the time, whereas J-pop just kind of creeps me out.
K-pop, you got a lot of people who can really good
Dance.
pronunciation.
Yeah, and dance as well. Like, not just like the hand dancing, but actual like hip-hop dancing.
Proper choreographed dancing, right?
Yeah, so that's a big deal for me.
If you had to choose between the two, yeah, maybe K.
Yeah. It's funny to watch like any of those musical award shows and you see like, you know, the J-pop groups go up and dance and sing, and then the K-pop groups come on right after, and the J-pop groups just look bad in comparison.
It's starting to get to that point.
I can't stand either.
I can't either.
I would listen to J-pop if it weren't manufactured.
There you go.
Right.
So
as long as they can play their music themselves, I think it's
if they compose their music themselves is the point. If it's like there's actual talent.
So you have pretty high standards. I just want them to be able to play their own instruments.
Yeah. if there are instruments on stage, that's the first step, really.
Right. That's really.
They need to be plugged in, though, right? They got to be plugged in.
Yeah, they have to be plugged in and not pre-recorded and written by the performer.
No, I just want them to play their music. It can be pre-recorded.
So they could be as bad as Ringo Starr on the drums, but it doesn't matter.
I wouldn't associate them with Ringo Starr, but yeah.
There are good musicians in Japan, people, I swear. They're just not
there are, but we're talking about pop. You're saying pop.
Yeah, J-Rock is another
subset
story.
of all that.
Yeah. But yeah.
Like somebody like the Bees, those guys can jam guitars really well.
Yeah, I would vastly prefer J-Rock to J-pop.
Definitely. Well, because they have to actually perform.
Right, exactly. So
There
they
is
actually
that.
do have talent.
Okie dokie. Anyone else want to take a question?
What game? Okay, we got Agrinson.
One.
There is only one. And what game release are you most excited for? It doesn't have to be in this year.
I'm most excited for East Foliage. What is it? Foliage Ocean and Silseta. The East 4 remake for the Vita. I am super psyched about that.
Right. I am most excited for Last Guardian. It will come out.
That's funny.
Keep saying that to yourself.
Well, no, I mean, but actually, they've been out. There's been people pressing, and a lot of people are saying, we're doing it. Shuhei Yoshida has said it. Other people have stepped forward after him.
Okay.
Cheesy?
Oh, gee, that's a tough question. I'm looking at the top 30 most wanted in Famitsu to try and spark my memory, but it's like the only game coming up that's even on
remotely interested in
that I'm even remotely interested in would be Senran Kagura Burst.
Wow. Senran Kagura Burst, the boob ninja game.
Oh, I was going to say, is that the 3DS boob ninja game? It is?
Yeah.
You hentai.
Oh, yeah.
Hentai.
Somewhere just another otaku is smiling, I'm sure.
Oh, man. There's like nothing coming out that I want.
Really?
Really? In the next year?
You want to?
Well, it's like the Wii U lineup was
doesn't even have to be.
It's like again with
you can pick a Western game. Yeah.
Western game. Gee.
Some
iOS game,
Mystery Science
PC?
Theater in it.
Yeah. I mean, New Super Mario Brothers 2 was the last game I was looking forward to. Really.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think Senran Kagura Burst is a great answer.
That's your bullshit answer.
Aren't they re-releasing that?
Well, the sequel has the first game included with it.
Oh, right. Is that what it was? Because all I could see on the poster was a big pair of tits with a scroll shoved between them.
Yeah.
They auto-generate levels based off of pictures you take of memories.
Really?
No.
That would be awesome. Imagine sitting on a train taking photographs of
Let me just for the next level.
Excuse me, do you mind if I take a photograph of your boobs? I want to generate a level.
Oh, that would be bad.
Here's a game I was looking forward to. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
For the 3DS?
Yeah. Whenever that's coming out.
And what about you, Martin?
It's Soul Sacrifice is probably the...
Yeah, that's up there for me.
I'm pretty intrigued. I want to see what what's his face, Mega Man dude. Keep forgetting his name.
Keiji
Inafune, yeah.
With the zombie toe.
Yeah.
He defeated Dr. Wily. That's what he did.
I'm just interested to see what he's done because he said he was going to do the old the Mobage type thing, and then he's jumped into this full-fledged Vita game, and I just want to see what he's doing.
I would like to see him do a Mystery Science Theater 3000, like playing Japanese games.
Oh God! Except it wouldn't be funny; it'd just be very, very serious,
very dark and sinister,
and hyperbolic.
Hasn't it been done before though? It's called Game Center CX.
But he has to play them. Okay, yeah. I'm talking about somebody. I'm not talking about him playing them.
Just watching someone play a game?
Watching them play. Him and Itagaki, maybe.
And then commenting on how bad the person is.
And Nagoshi, because Nagoshi is kind of like the level-headed dude.
I can see them commenting on games.
Let's move on to the next one. You want to take the next one?
I'll ask this one.
Go on.
So you guys are all teachers, right? Strangest questions you've been asked by...
students.
I'm assuming students. So that's from Charm Oil.
Yeah. Okay, so there's only 2 teachers here, so...
Yeah.
So, Elliot, what was your strangest question?
Yeah, I teach at Zasshi time. What is that?
Okay.
You used to be the lingo lab teacher.
Strangest question and the most random in English by a 5th grade boy. As such. Big penis?
Oh, no.
Repeated multiple times to me.
I had a very...
told him infinity.
So the question was on both words?
Yeah, it's kind of like...
it was going on.
I had the same question, although mine was slightly different. Mine was... Big penis, small penis, no penis.
Whoa, multiple choice.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. Yeah, and
my answer
sounds
to
like
that
a
question,
dirty man at one of those like traveling circuses.
My answer to that question is always infinity
and beyond.
It freaks them out.
I just say you've played the Zora's Wrath, right? Remember the sword? I don't know. Yeah, okay, there you go.
Onward.
Common Writer 1 asks, worst video game ever played?
Oh man.
I feel like
I will say mine is Rise of the Robots.
Oh god, that was so bad.
I had to test that one. I had to test it for 2 weeks. I was about to kill somebody. I mean, literally, ouch. Rise of the Robots, worst game ever.
For me, Friday the 13th for the NES. I found the cartridge in a puddle at a flea market. And I took it home and it worked. And it was just the worst game ever, and I felt cheated even though I found it in a puddle.
You should have took it back and put it back in the puddle.
Put it back in the puddle. And the top was cracked too, so you could see like part of the actual like chip. It was terrible.
Steven?
I'm going to have to say Indiana
Halo?
Jones for the Atari 2600.
Oh my goodness, I played that. Yeah, that was bad.
That was just above my pay grade. I was too young to play that. It was way too difficult.
Cool. Okay, Cheesy?
The Rocketeer for Super NES.
Yeah,
Rocketeer was good for the Amiga.
Oh, you mean with the wheel? You had the big wheel, right? To the codes.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the codes? You needed codes, right? And you needed that spin wheel to figure out the codes. Yeah, if you couldn't do that.
And the codes.
That was the anti-piracy thing back in the day, wasn't it? The big wheels.
Sure was. Guybrush Threepwood, they did that as well.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
The problem with the Rocketeer on Super NES was in the very first level, you're supposed to fly this biplane around in laps. And the controls were so convoluted that you could never get the plane into the air, much less flying around laps.
Do you remember Top Gun on the NES where you had to land?
Oh my god, you could not.
You could never land it.
I never got past that part.
Yeah.
Sounds my flight simulator for the Commodore 64. I could not get off the ground unless I went top-down view. For some reason, I could get off ground.
Alrighty, so Biff Sticks says, are there a lot of female gamers in Japan?
I mean,
in the arcades?
You'll see them in the arcades.
Oh, the arcades are full of them, right?
Yeah. Rhythm games and metal games. And
I've seen plenty playing fighting games, too, down here. But yeah, I mean, they play games as much as anybody else.
They just hide it better.
Yeah, they just hide it better.
I mean,
ever since they got the whole half the arcade is purikura, they're already there, so they usually just
the photo booths
spill in. Yeah,
photo booths. Yeah, I mean
those are pretty amazing.
The younger generation, you see them walking around with DSs or 3DSs.
Yeah, it's not rare at all.
It's not rare at all. You see them on a train playing them. Yeah, it's not rare at all. So yeah, there's a lot of female gamers in Japan. A whole lot
you said, Ace Attorney, that was played by a lot of chicks.
Yeah,
that was big. Persona.
I saw that at work, just salary women, just playing that game a lot.
Pokemon's big as well.
You've got the whole otome genre, which is the women-focused kind of romance novel video game.
Yeah, visual novels.
Romancing the Stone, Kathleen Turner.
Yep.
Wet Jungle.
Anyway.
Okie dokie. All right, I think we should wrap it up.
Yes.
If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, it's RedSunGamer. If you want to follow Steven on Twitter, it's
Steve_RedSunG.
Oh my God, got it right first time. Elliot.
You keep saying that.
I know, but you always get it wrong. It's funny.
I'm getting it right. You got to listen to the podcast you record.
I know.
Okay, I'm Ryoga Saotome, RYOUGASAOTOME.
Nice, cheesy.
At Cheesemeister3K.
Nice. I'm DJ Mizuhara. If you would like to follow us on the YouTube, it's RedSunGamer TV. If you would like to follow us on our live stream, it's Twitch TV/RedSunGamer. We did a 3DS LL live stream yesterday, which was the 28th of July, and that was pretty good.
Long.
Yeah, it was about 4.5 hours long. We did it, so that was
nicely
pretty good.
done as well. Very good, well produced.
Yeah, thank you. I put some time and effort into making several different windows and stuff. So yeah, it was nice. I was happy with it, but it wasn't a new system. So we already knew what it was. It was just a big 3DS, really. I mean, I would have liked it to be in a new system, so we could have gone in and shown, oh, look at this, but it was really nothing new. Everyone had already seen what was the OS. Everyone knows about the OS.
You did
right?
practically everything there was. You did knife tests, ballistic tests, blend tests.
What?
Yeah.
Put it in the toilet.
Yeah.
Also, I randomly turned it on and they were doing glare tests. I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, well, people were asking how much of reflection is there. I opened the window to let the sun through, and I could see myself in the reflection of the 3DS, but on the LL I couldn't see myself. So, I mean that was the difference. I could see myself and I couldn't. So, it was good. So yeah. So if you'd like to send us any questions or emails, send them through the Twitter, or you can email us at redsungamer@gmail.com. Also, if you'd please, iTunes reviews.
Rate us.
Yes.
Create multiple accounts.
Yes.
Spam it.
Oh, no.
Spam that stuff.
We also have a home on retroids.com where you can chat
all the
with
people who
community
give
there.
us email tweets have written reviews. That's our system.
Yeah, and we have a thread on Gaff. So please get in touch with us. Ask us questions. We'll answer them like you've just listened to. So yeah, so that was episode 44.
Oh wait, Martin.
Go for it.
Just Patrick Malloy. He's a longtime listener who just moved to Tokyo. So congratulations to him for that.
Is he a listener?
Yes.
He is. Hello, Patrick. Welcome to Tokyo. Anyway, so yeah, that was Red Sun Gamer, episode 44. Let's go to some of this.
Let's go to some of this.